Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host Manny Friedman, along with my co-host,
Brad Sloan.
and we got a special guest, Luke Philpott, aka Hawking Lines, right on the
Yeah,
handle. Welcome.
yeah,
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate
You
yeah.
this.
might be the
Thanks for
youngest
having
looking
me.
guest we've ever had on the show, Luke.
The what?
You might be the youngest looking guest we've ever had on the show.
I probably am the youngest guest too, so
You probably are the
um
best tennis player of all out of all of us too.
yeah.
Ooh, I
But
don't know.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
That one sounds like it's pretty close between the three of us. That's actually kind of cool.
we could have a tournament, see how it goes. But yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it
Absolutely.
and I'm looking forward to talking.
And thank you for staying up at 1 o'clock in the morning to do this. I know you're in
No
the
worries.
Netherlands, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I guess it's never too late to talk tennis.
never.
All
I'm
right.
always up for it.
Yes,
Yeah.
nice. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and how you got into this and
Yeah, well, I'm Irish and I've always been into tennis and followed the tour and about 2 years ago or so, I got into the betting side of it, and I loved it. I started following the tour, and then it's just progressed from there. I started posting my stuff on Twitter, and gained a bit of a following, and have a group for free where I post stuff occasionally, but I like a little less now. But I've got a group in there where I post my stuff, and I just talk on Twitter and kind of share my insights. But from a betting perspective, yeah, I'd be more focused on the challenger side, but I do it all. I do the main tour as well. So yeah,
cool, cool, awesome.
that's good.
So let's get into it. I mean, I think the last time we did a pod, Brad and I was after the French Open, right? We did one for Halle, right? Was it
Yeah, I think it was
London?
around then. Yeah,
Couple
yeah.
weeks ago. So obviously we've seen, a couple weeks of tennis. We're getting ready for Wimbledon. So we just want to, do some like solid recap, and some takeaways from the grass court season. So I guess let's start with Gabe Diallo, who won Den Bosch. So do you think that like the hype is worth it? Do you think his level is sustainable? Do you think he's gonna grow from here and get better? Or do you think this is kind of like a flash in the pan?
I don't see
Definitely.
why he wouldn't continue to grow. I mean, I don't know what like what anybody else. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. I don't know. I'm not saying he's gonna win slams.
Hmm.
We've also seen like it's very hard to get beyond this point. I feel like a lot, it's pretty common to see guys kind of get to this top 40, top 50 level, which is why I kind of put him right now, somewhere in the 30 to 50 range, depending on surface conditions, matchups, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like you see a lot of guys kind of get to this area and stall out as like regular pros. But I think there still is some runway to improve. I don't know that he'll win any slams, but I think there's still some runway. Maybe like I don't know, maybe like a borderline top 20-ish. It gets really hard when you start talking top 10 because he's got to unseat somebody in the top 10. And I don't know that he's got that level in him, but yeah, that's kind of what I would say.
I
I
mean,
don't know, Luke. What do you think?
my takeaway personally is I think he's purely a quick court player. I don't think he plays well on slow surfaces, and I mean, we saw this in Madrid, right? The only good clay result he had this year was in Madrid. Because I think he needs that altitude on clay. He did have a good grass court season, but he is prone to duds, and like I don't know if it's a product of him playing a little bit too much and being fatigued, or are those duds gonna like pop up, even when
I
he's
mean,
not
he did
playing
straight set Cerundolo at the French Open, right? I know it's only one result, Manny, but he did straight set Cerundolo at the French
But
Open.
I actually think Cerundolo played a lot of tennis up to that point, and I think he was fatigued.
I think so, but I don't. I mean, I guess I hear you in that he's. I think he'll be better on quicker courts, but I don't know that he's a strictly quick court player.
Okay.
For me,
What do
like
you think,
I think
Luke?
his game's gonna work better on quick courts, but yeah, like I'm really high on him. I think he can continue improving from here. Like he kind of I think he has everything that you need really. He's got the serve. He's good off both wings. He moves well for his height. I think he's what like 6'7",
He
something like that.
really
So
moves well for 6'7". I was going to mention that. That's a great call out, Luke. He's a
yeah,
really,
he
really, and he's got good hands. Good, like just a really good complete athlete for his size.
yeah, and I feel like he has adapted to all surfaces. I know you say like obviously his game's going to work better on the quicker surface, but I do think he like I was impressed, like relatively impressed by what I saw from him on clay. I watched him play Giron. I can't remember what tournament that was. Maybe it was Madrid. He lost. He played very well. He probably shouldn't have lost that match.
That
But
was Rome, first
was that
round of Rome.
Rome? Yeah, so slower clay. So yeah, I think he's got everything that he needs really to continue growing, and he's still young. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm not that convinced. I think that Cerundolo match was more bad Cerundolo than good Diallo, to be honest.
yeah.
Um, and I think top 30 is his ceiling. I think he can go up a little bit more from here, but I do think like he's going to struggle to maintain this level. Um,
So I mean, quickly, what do we think ceilings are? So then we can probably move on. We have a lot of
yeah.
topics to hit. I'd say borderline top 20, like 15 to 20 is probably a ceiling.
Okay, I'm a
Yeah, I
little
mean,
lower. I think top 30.
I'd agree with Brad. I'd say I think he can crack the top 20. I don't see why not. Like I think he has everything that he needs. I think if he can just continue developing, I think he can for sure, yeah.
Do you think he can make top 10, Luke, or do you think that's a bridge too far?
I think it's always hard to say that like with someone unless they're
Yeah.
like really really special when they're young, but it's probably a push right now, but I wouldn't be blown away if it happened. I think I definitely think he has potential to crack the top 20 for sure.
And where is he right now? Like 45, 44,
41.
41. All right.
Yeah. How old is he actually? But he's
23, I think. Let me check. I got his page up right now. Yeah, 23.
yeah, I mean he has time and he's got quite a developed game like all around I think at the moment and
Brad,
he
you
can
want to do a dinner
continue.
bet on it? An over under on the ranking?
How long do we have?
Till the
Yeah, how
end
long do we have? That's the question.
till the end of the year.
Oh, no.
Oh, to make top 20? No, no, he's not gonna make top
Okay.
20
Give
by
it
not by
five
the end of
years,
the
I think.
year.
5 years.
Um,
Okay.
no, no, not 5 years. That's an exaggeration, but I'd not by the end of the year, no, for sure.
Okay. All right. I think we're too close to make a dinner bet. I'm just a little bit lower on him than you guys. Maybe that match against Lechka is like scarred in my mind. And like because that
I
was
will
I will
also say
say,
though, wait,
I will
I
say
think
we talk about 23s being super young. There's a lot of guys under 25 now in the top
yeah,
20 to 30 in the round. It's a very we've seen a push of youth in the past, I don't know, 5 years.
it sounds young when you say it, but then you think of it, there's 17, 18-year-olds breaking through it. Like it's a
it
sport for young people, so
is. It
it,
is.
I mean,
yeah.
what is Alcaraz? 21, 22? Like
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. All right, let's go on to the next topic. So, is Bublik a top 5 player going into Wimbledon in terms of like your power rankings?
For me,
yeah.
I think you have to obviously you have Alcaraz, you have Sinner, and
Mhm.
then I think you have to have Novak three,
I agree. I agree.
just based on
Yep.
who he is and what he
Just by
can do.
default. Yep.
For me, I put Fritz four. Like I just think
Ooh.
I'm big on Fritz game on grass, and I think if he stays healthy and he plays well, I think he has like all you need to perform on grass. And
Okay.
then for the fifth spot, I was between Draper and Bublik, and for me, I'd go Draper there. But I think I'd have Bublik six. I just can't get him in that top five.
Okay. For me, it's Alcaraz 1, Sinner 2, Djokovic 3, Draper 4, and Bublik 5, and I'm Fritz on
Mm,
the outside looking in. I just think Bublik has a little bit more like racket talent ability, that he can, and also his upside of being able to beat the top guys is better, right? Like Fritz might have the more
yeah,
consistent results, but if you could put one match, for Bublik, I would rather have Bublik in that situation, right? Like I
yeah.
think his chance of beating an Alcaraz or a Sinner are much higher than a Fritz. So that's the reason why I put him ahead. Um, and then if you round out my top 8, it would be like Fritz at 6, Medvedev at 7, and Zverev at 8. Like that's my top 8. Who do you put, Luke, like kind of right outside that tier?
I mean, I think I'd agree with you. I think I'd have Bublik six, and then you'd kind of go with those two. I think like even though like I don't like Zverev's game on quick courts. Like I think
Yeah.
he's better with time, and I think that's why like similar to Fils, I think when he has time, he can hit through the slower conditions, and he's got the big swing for the forehand. So the grass takes that time away from him. But I think that he's still too good of a player not to put up there, you know. So I'd
Mhm.
have him and then Daniil looking in. Yeah.
Okay. All right,
I
Brad.
think it really depends how you're defining the question. Like if you're saying top five most likely guys to win the tournament, like maybe because like for Fritz, like being the top guy is kind of like no means no. Like I don't see how Fritz beats Alcaraz. I don't see how Fritz beats Sinner. I just don't think he's got like enough explosive game. Whereas there's a path there for Bublik. I'm not saying it's likely, but I think there's a path. But if you're asking me like who on average is going to get the best results, I'd put Fritz, Draper at least above Bublik. I mean, I'd put Bublik somewhere in like 6 to 10. I think you know, it gets easy to get really excited about Bublik because he has a good week. But
Yeah.
and to be fair, he's in the past 3 months he's cleaned up like the clowning. But there still is the potential. If he has an off serving day, it's a bigger problem for him than other guys. So yeah, it really depends how you're defining it, I think.
But
I do.
I think we
Go
can
ahead.
all agree that if we had to choose between Fritz, Draper, and Bublik to pair against Alcaraz or Sinner, we'd pick Bublik
Yeah, I would say so.
on any given day, right?
But I will also say, to what Brad said there, I think that we've gotten to a point where in the past, like maybe month, we're now treating Bublik like a totally different person than a month or two ago. And I think like
Good point.
there's always the chance that this kind of new Bublik doesn't last, you know. So I think like I need to see more of what he's producing. But obviously, the last few weeks he's been amazing. So
Right, right.
yeah,
And he said in his interview at the French, like if he got broken in that game against Draper, he would have lost the fifth, like 6-1. Like he knows it,
yeah,
like so, but the other guys like Fritz is gonna dog out and go all out, no matter what the score is, right? Like he's just a tennis junkie in that sense. So I mean, I think it's close, but like
I think it really depends how you define the question. Like it
yeah.
really depends on how you're defining the question.
Okay, I guess more in terms of who do we think can win Wimbledon, then you would go Bublik, right? And if it
yeah,
I
was
might go Bublik third if it's who can win it. I just don't. I like to me.
oh,
This is like a two and this is like a two and a quarter man tournament. Like, is it like is I mean we'll
yeah.
get to it when we talk about the draw, but like, is anybody beating Alcaraz or Sinner like besides each other? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I definitely would have Novak third just based on like what he can do and what he has done and like who he is.
You're probably right, Luke. You're probably Novak's probably third, but Bublik has a very good case for fourth.
And like I think who can like it would be a bigger upset if Bublik beats one of them, obviously. But like if he redlines, he can beat anybody. So
Yes.
Right.
as we saw last week. So yeah,
I think if he redlines, the one guy that I think still think he would have trouble beating is Alcaraz because
mm,
Alcaraz has that level of racket talent. But we saw he could beat Sinner. Can he
yeah,
do it over 5 sets though? That's the question. Like I don't know. You know,
yeah,
can Djokovic just? I mean, Djokovic could potentially play him in the quarters. Like could Djokovic problem solve? But I think when Bublik plays that kind of game, it's really hard to problem solve against that. He just like takes the racket out of your hand.
yeah. I
You
mean,
know?
his pure just ability like is it's scary to watch. Like
It's
it's
scary. It's
so good.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bublik has been awesome. Next topic I wanted to get into is Medvedev's best surface grass now?
Do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, Brad,
No,
you.
no, no. It's. I mean, like I've said this, and I think, man, you weren't on the spaces that DB Will from Double Fault Pod and I had, but
Mhm.
I just think like despite all Medvedev's whining, he's pretty close. And a lot of guys are like this. Like we talk a lot about surfaces, but a lot of these guys are pretty close to all quarters, and I think Medvedev falls in that range. Like, okay, the things that hurt him on grass, right? Harder to return with his stance. Um, doesn't love to come in, etc. But it makes up for it because he's got the big serve, right? Like again, like that you flip around to slower surfaces, and all of a sudden, like his patience when he's playing well helps him. But now he's got other issues, and so I think he's pretty close to an all quarter. I just think like the fact that he complains about stuff doesn't mean we should take him for his word. These worse on certain surfaces is my take.
I disagree with you. I actually think it is his best surface now. I think he needs a little bit of help now, right? Like he's super underpowered, so he needs some help from the court to penetrate, get a little bit more MPHs on his serve. And I think the lower bounce actually helps him. Um, I don't know. He's been so pedestrian on hard this year, and he was pretty bad on clay. So, like, to make a final of Halle, I think is a better result than he's had.
He also played like trash though in Den Bosch. Like it's very trashy win over Manarino, and then a terrible loss to Opelka when he double faulted 2 or 3 times in a tiebreak against Opelka, who like all you need to do is serve the ball
That
in.
is true. It's a good
So
point.
like and we've seen this before. Medvedev, he won Mallorca once, right? Um, he won. Did he win Mallorca? He made a Halle final. Maybe he didn't win Mallorca. I don't know what I was talking about. But he made a Halle final a few years back. Like I don't know. Oh no, he did
He's
win
made
Mallorca.
he's made
2021
semis
Mallorca,
of
which is too
Wimbledon
far
back to
back.
back years. He beat Sinner last year at Wimbledon, right? I
Yeah.
just think he needs a bit of help from something. I mean, whether it's the balls or the court, like he can't just win based on his normal level. Like he needs an external factor to kind of come to his aid. That's kind of what I'm feeling. And last
Yeah,
year he was complaining about the balls. I mean, I guess Luke, you can break the tie.
I'd agree that I do think like I think maybe like I would say right now I'd like him most on grass, but I think that might be influenced by what we saw like this year. I think like I was just was so unimpressed by him like earlier this year. Overall, maybe he's a better hard quarter, but like I agree. I think that the grass helps his game along, and he still has the ability to kind of grind from the baseline like he likes to do, but he can generate more offense on the faster surface. So, like I would say right now, I like his game most on grass. Yeah,
The only thing which hurts him on the grass is the return positioning. Like usually standing way back on return on grass is not beneficial. So I think that that's the one thing. But
He
if
also doesn't love to come in, which doesn't help him either on grass. Like you're you see like so I would say that too.
that's true, but now in all surfaces, we talk about how coming in is an important part of clay court tennis too. More underrated than it used to be,
True.
you know? So I don't know. Do you think coming in is more important on grass or clay? I actually think it actually might be even more on clay just because of how slow it is and how hard it is to put a ball away from the back of the court.
yeah. I mean, I see your point. I would still probably say grass, but I like that is a good point. I've never really thought of it like that, but I think like just the nature of grass, the ability to get forward is a huge advantage. But that is also true, what you said on the slower surface. Like you're going to be able to hit winners from the baseline a lot easier on grass, obviously, than you are on slower clay. So I
Yeah.
can see it from both sides. Yeah.
hmm Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see how Medvedev does. I mean, he's just been so bad this entire year.
But
I don't.
see, I think that's a bad narrative though. Like I think it's just been really up and down for him, right? Like he what did he do? He did well in Dubai, right? Was it Dubai or Doha? No, Doha. He like I don't know. He's had some decent weeks here and there. He made the semis of Indian Wells. Like I don't know. I think this like he's been terrible. Like yeah, compared to his normal top five self, maybe, but not. I mean, it hasn't been that bad. Like there have been some really really bad moments. Losing to Lerner at the Australian Open was horrendous. But like, and some of the other losses have been horrendous. Like there have
I
been a
mean,
lot of horrendous matches, but
it's not
like there have
Sissipas
been some
bad.
good moments too.
It's not Sissipas bad, but it's bad.
I
Relative
think
to normal level, sure. But I'm also yeah, I don't know. But I think a lot of that is just him just not like him playing okay in some weeks and not well in other weeks.
Yeah. All right. Next,
Again,
next.
like Den Bosch was terrible. So yeah, like I don't know what the difference was between Den Bosch and Halle, but like played terrible one week and played great the other week. Like even the win over Manarino and Den Bosch was pathetic. Like it was, I bet Manarino to win a set, and I was super pissed that it didn't come through. I think I bet him for set one. And Manarino had set points, which is just sad given like where Manarino's at now too.
that being said, though, I will say one thing. I still think though, and obviously he played Opelka, but I don't know was he broken against Manor? I don't think he was even broken in those two matches. So his serve is still holding up. Like obviously the double faults are that like that was bad, but he's still showing that his service game is still more
He was
solid.
broken once against Manarino,
Was he okay? Yeah.
What was it?
which is okay. It's
Three double faults to lose in the tiebreak.
Yeah.
against Opelka. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
that
What did he
that
got
that
five
that counts as
four?
a break.
That that counts as like three breaks.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that one. That's
It's
a fair.
funny. So that day, that exact day, Medvedev hit three double faults to lose the match, and then Lechka saw that and he wanted to one up him, and he double faulted the game away to lose the match against Shelton
Mm.
that same day,
What was it?
four in a
Yeah.
row. It was
Like you really that really should not count as a game. Like that should not count as a break for Sheldon. It should not count as a game. It should be like a -1. It should have gone back to 5 for there should have been a -1 for Lechka, not a +1 for Shelton. Like that's not the right way to do it. Like you should have to do something, like at least hit a ball to win a game in order for it to count as a game. Like
and I mean Lechka would just make the serve and Shelton would just blast a return in the bottom of the net. So it's like just tap it over. God's sake.
Yeah.
That was nauseating. That was one of the worst tilts of the year. I hated that match.
Well, you're on Latvia.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Horrible,
I went on a little Manny and I both went on a long tilt together. Just the
man.
way, like, and the way he got broken the first set of that match, shit was also terrible.
It
Just
was,
like bombing. I think he double faulted twice, bombed like an easy forehand, like 3 feet out. Like,
Yeah.
Lechka. All these Czech guys, I can't stand them. All three.
Latvia, he's such a tough one though, I think, because he can be so good, and it's like you never know when he's going to bring that. Like, because he like when he plays his best game, I think he's like top level, but at the same
It's
time, he can
it's
just
all three of them. Mahak is the same way. When he plays
yeah.
his best tennis, he's incredible.
Oh,
Right?
I don't know what to make of him at this stage, man. He's
And
just
it's incredible.
so
And I
all
feel
over
the
the place.
same even with Mensik. Like, where is the Miami tennis? Like,
Yeah.
it's just nowhere
that
to
could
be
be a
seen
surface
now.
thing. We'll see when he gets back to hard courts. That could be a surface thing.
Okay. All right. I mean, his game, Mensik, like, I feel like it's super conducive to grass. A great serve, right? Places it on a dime. Great, flat balls off both wings. I think his forehand is a little iffy, but the backhand is world class. Like, I don't understand why he's so bad on grass. It just
I,
doesn't make sense
I
to me.
think just not quick enough, not good at the timing. Not good at the timing the ball coming off the grass. He's tall too. Isn't Mensick like 6'6" or something? Isn't he a taller player? So harder to get
yeah.
down to the grass. Those would be all my takes on grass.
And also, I just think his movement side to side, he's not comfortable yet. Like, I don't know, has he played enough grass tennis to
Yeah.
be
Probably.
comfortable? So I think he can
Great call
develop.
out, Luke. Fantastic
Yeah.
call.
All right, next guy I want to talk about Musetti expectations going into Wimbledon. Made the semis last year at Wimbledon, had a really good grass court campaign last year. I mean, we talked about him being better on natural surfaces rather than the hard. I think that still holds true, but I wonder like what you guys make of his expectations like going into Wimbledon. I don't think that the injury was a real thing, honestly, at Roland Garros. I think it was more mental than physical. That was just my takeaway. I think it was good he didn't play. He was probably fatigued after all those long Masters runs. Um, I don't know. It's kind of I don't really know 100% what to expect, but I mean, I'd still put him in the top 10 in my grass court power rank. Or, well, yeah, probably like after those eight guys we discussed before, he'd probably be 9 or 10 still.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, his game can work on grass. I think he's got like he can use the slice like well, and he's a great like he's got a great ability like tennis wise. But I think like even during the clay swing, I was a little lower on him than most people were. Like it took like I spent a long time I think like undervaluing him, and
Mhm.
it took me a while to catch up on the clay. And I think maybe I'm back to that point now, going into grass season. I just don't see all that much with his game, but I think he can do well. Of course, like you say, he's probably in that top 10 range in terms of the grass kind of rankings. But I'm not a huge fan of his game. So
Really, really.
yeah,
I'm higher than most on Musetti, to be
yeah,
honest. Like, I had him number 3 or 4, honestly, at Roland Garros. Probably slightly behind Draper, I would say. I think he was number 4 for me, and then Novak was 5 going into Roland Garros.
I just think he's got obviously he's great to watch. Like his tennis is great, but like
Hmm.
I don't know, does he have the ability to kind of play someone off the court? You know what I mean? Like I think if you can take it to him and kind of like I don't think he can hit you off the court in the way kind of red line in the way that someone like a Bublik or someone like that can. You know, like I think he's good, like very good defensively, and he's great to watch. But I don't know, does he have that ceiling? You know?
I mean, he's quote unquote underpowered, but
Yeah,
I think he utilizes angles better than most,
yeah,
and he gets guys off the court, and he's so also good at those touch shots, you know, drawing people in and then getting a target and passing. Like he's so good at those kind of points that like he masked that underpowered um like that underpoweredness. He masks it better than anyone, you
yeah.
know. And I think I don't know, on grass he utilized the outer thirds of the court really well. I saw some of his highlights against Fritz yesterday, and like he was bullying Fritz around the court, even though Fritz has bigger balls, you know. And I think
What
he,
from last year? You're saying when was the match
yeah,
from that you were
last
watching?
year the quarterfinal with
Yeah.
against Fritz, and I think Fritz was a massive favorite in that match, and Musetti just kind of bullied him tactically in terms of like getting him off the court and then like utilizing the slice to draw him in. Like it was a tactical masterclass. So I don't I don't know.
So a few things. A couple of um, was I think to back Luke up. I think one challenge with him, it feels like he's always gonna have to beat guys. I don't know, like if guys, if guys play well, they can take games off him or take sets off him. So that's always a potential challenge. And then the second thing, his draw for this upcoming Wimbledon, man, looks really nice. I think for him, I really like his draw.
Yeah, so if he can work his way into the event, then I
I
mean
mean,
that's good.
I actually have concerns for him in the first round, to be honest. Like, not, I don't think he's going to lose, but I think, like, if Basilashvili can sort of play his best
I think he
tennis,
take a set. I think Bash could take a set. I think that to me looks like a 3-1 match if you ask me.
yeah, and I think he can definitely
Yeah.
cause him some problems. Yeah,
And then who does he have after that?
I haven't actually
We'll go
looked
over the
too deep
draw
into his
in
draw.
more depth, but Faria or Sanago and then Nakashima. I mean, yeah, it's hard not to see him in the fourth round, to be honest. Like,
Well, even of the guys who can play in the fourth round, like who beats him? I think Humbert. I think that'd be a fascinating matchup if Musetti plays Humbert. But
hmm.
anybody else, I think if he plays, I think if Musetti plays Shelton, I think he destroys him.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. But would you have him like crack your top 8 in terms of power? Bless you. Like, would you have him like would you have him above or below Medvedev and Zverev in your like power rankings?
Below.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd have him below those two.
I'm on the fence. I might have him in the middle of those two guys, to be honest, but I don't know. I tend to think he's almost like just a better tennis player than Medvedev at this point,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Like overall, I mean, I don't really understand why Musetti's so bad on hard court. It doesn't really
yeah.
he's
I
so much
like.
better on the natural surfaces.
It feels like he has a game that could kind of translate to hard. Obviously, like you like him more on slower conditions, I think. But like it feels like he's got the ability. Like guys like that, even like a Bublik, for example, he keeps coming up. But like guys who just have the natural like ability with the racket in their hand, they can kind of just play great tennis. Their game tends to translate more than. someone like who's more reliant on a fast court to kind of carry their game. So he
Yeah.
feels like he would have a game that would kind of translate well, but yeah.
I think a couple things. One, the movement, and two, uh, I think despite grass being like quote unquote quicker, it also tends to be like the ball tends to sit a little bit lower in the grass, right? So like those angles and things like that help him more on the grass, and on the clay, the drop shot really helps him. And again, the ability to move guys around the court. Also, it's harder to hit through him on a grass court. I think hard court is kind of a bad mix for him. Where like if the ball like if the ball that he hits is sitting up, right, or if the ball is sitting up in general, that's worse for him than other guys because other guys are going to be powering the ball more, so the power disadvantage hurts him more. And I think his drop shots and angles and things like that help him probably less on hard court than either of the other two surfaces. Then you throw in the movement, so I think that's why he's a worse hard court player to me than grass or clay. He's not the only one like that either. There's a few other guys like that too. Like Berrettini's another guy who's a really good, who I think is a better natural surface player than a hardcore player.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how he kind of shows up this week. I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah, for
unknown with
sure.
him.
It will be
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, he's holding at a 2% higher clip than he was last year. And I feel like he's beefed up his serve a little bit.
I agree.
Musetti?
Musetti. And
Yeah,
I feel like that's a big part of his
I
improvement.
definitely agree. I think even on the clay, his serve was doing a lot of damage. So yeah.
Yeah,
His first serve percentage is slightly lower than it was, or three percentage points higher this year. And he's holding at a 2% higher clip and
that's pretty significant actually.
winning 64.2% of serve points won compared to last year at 63.8. And his
Okay.
break percentage is 3 percentage points higher. So like everything across the board is a little bit up, but I think the serve is the big one of the biggest improvements, honestly. So
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
I'm, I'm looking forward to seeing.
he's such a watchable player though. Like
Oh yeah.
watching
Yeah.
him
Yeah, that I think we can all agree on.
Yeah.
is incredible. Um and all right, now let's talk about a lower ranked couple of guys. And these guys are separated by one spot in the rankings, and I feel like their games are very, very similar. Munar versus Echeverry on a grass court. Who would you take at a pick'em price?
I mean,
You want to go first, Luke?
yeah, I can go first. Like it's a tough one, I think. I think you couldn't really fault whatever side you take. Like I would probably make it like it very close to a pick, but I think just overall I'd probably lean Echeverry. I think he has more kind of pop to his game than Munar on a faster surface, but I don't really rate either of them much on grass. I think when you look at Echeverry's results so far on the grass this season, you have like it doesn't look bad. He has a close game with Otto Virtanen, and he has um who else did he play? He got destroyed by Karen. He beat Rublev, obviously, beat Pedro. But like watching him, the only match where I was actually quite impressed by him was against Pedro Martinez, but Martinez was
Yeah, he's
so
awful.
indescribably bad. So it's hard to like I think his results look better than how he's played. But I'd still think I'd probably give him a slight edge over Munar at the moment. Yeah.
I was on the opposite side. I slightly lean Munar. I just think his
Yeah.
movement is slightly better on the grass, and his like Etch has huge swing paths on both wings. So I feel
Yeah.
like he has a tendency to be rushed a little bit more, and he returns a little better. But Etch does have a little better serve, so both good competitors. It's really really close. That's why I wanted and I saw that these guys were like one separated by one spot in the rankings. That's why I wanted to like bring it up in this context.
Yeah, when I thought of those two, I really I couldn't separate them. I was like, it was hard to take a side. Yeah,
Yeah, and one
I
big
hate Etches moving on the grass. I hate
yeah,
Etches moving
I
in
agree.
general. It's really really bad on the grass. It was really funny watching like it was really funny because like the tennis TV and the tennis TV announcers tend to like hype up all these guys, but they were like hyping up Etcheverry like running all these balls down against Rublev, and I was sitting there thinking like half of the reason he's running these balls down is because he's like every time he like gets into a corner he like takes like 2 full seconds to like turn around, so he like has to like he can't recover back to the middle of the court. That's why he's like sprint to make like a ridiculous get on the next ball. It's just like Yeah, he doesn't really get in and out of corners particularly well on clay either. Yeah, I would take Munar slightly because of that. I really think Munar has done a lot to really round out his game. Like he's playing a lot more aggressively. Him and Muller. I mean, Manny, you and I talked them both up in Hong Kong the very first week of the season,
Yeah.
but I think they've both really made a good stride in their game. And that's just taking a step back, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he made what, the French Open quarters back in 24, and yeah, I feel like he's taking. I thought there was a time when I thought like he was really going to step it up. He was starting to come in more at one point on the indoor circuit. I think it was the end of it was either end of
Basel.
23 or end of
It was
24.
Basel. He took Holger Rune to a third set breaker, and he was
Yeah,
playing incredible. He was coming in like I was like, where the hell is this? You know, I've never seen him come in, and now like he never comes in ever.
yeah.
So that match
I
with
don't know
Rublev was
what it is about. Go ahead.
that match that Etch played against Rublev was hilarious. I mean, not just the ending, but like both guys just refused to come into net.
Yeah.
Like it was like basically whoever would come in or get baited in would lose the point.
Well,
But
also is how many errors would Rublev make versus how many winners? Like I bet I had the Etch money line bet, and I was just the entire time like Rublev, please miss, please miss, please miss, because Etch wasn't doing anything to actually win any points. It was one of the more brutal wins I've ever taken. Like,
Yeah.
when that ball went up at I think it was 6-6, you just knew it was going into the net
oh yeah, oh
for
yeah,
Rublev.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
He seemed weirdly kind of not angry that day though. I don't know, was that did he just not care that much about that match? But
Just
usually he'd
smiling
be
sarcastically though.
but was it didn't it almost looked not that sarcastic. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but he seemed happy with it.
I mean he's talked about that, right? He's doing a lot of work to try to be less angry. I think it's a tough like, and I feel like he's making a concerted effort. Like, before like last year when this slide started, he was freaking out every match, right? And like I feel like now there's some matches he's still freaking out, but it's not every match. I feel like he's making, and you wonder if he's doing stuff medically too to try to moderate that better as well. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, this wasn't part of the like what I sent, but we could do the same thing with Rublev versus Tsitsipas. Pick 'em odds on a grass court. Who would you take?
Uh, You want to go first, Brad? Or?
I'd take Tsitsipas. I think there's a big surface. I mean, like at least Tsitsipas can still come in. Like his game. I mean, his backhand is a complete disaster now, and the forehand is even the forehand seems to be. And I think he's playing around with the serve. Like nothing really seems to be going right for Tsitsipas, but like at least he can still attack and come forward. So on a grass court, I would take Tsitsipas. But yeah, both. It was crazy. I was seeing Tsitsipas is seated 24th. Like, and
Yeah.
I get why. Like he's played terrible, but it just looked weird. It was weird looking at the draw and seeing a number in the 20s next to Tsitsipas's name.
Yeah, he's getting straight setted by Mickelson. Like when I saw him as a dog against Mickelson, I'm like, that can't be right. And I hit Tsitsipas. That was a bad mistake.
And
Bad
he
mistake.
was totally outplayed that day as well.
He was. And I'm
Yeah.
like, he can't be a dog to Mickelson. Like he's so much better athlete. He if he gets the first strike in rallies, like he's gonna force Mickelson to move into corners and like put the ball away. And like it just didn't happen. Like he just looks so lost out there. Like honestly, I take Rublev because at least Rublev has the power to penetrate that backhand. And like if Rublev hits a couple balls to that wing, what does Tsitsipas do to get out of that pattern? I can't really see anything. Like he can only get to net when he gets the first strike in the rally. If he's the one defending, he's going to miss before he can even get an opportunity to move forward. I mean, we always talk about tennis being defense, neutral, and offense. If he's always on defense, he's not going to be able to utilize any attacking strategy. So I don't know. I'd probably lean Rublev at pick 'em odds on a grass court, but I would probably stay away from that match, honestly. But
Yeah. I was just gonna
lose
say
my
I don't think that's one that you'd want to be involved in. But I think if I had to choose, I'd probably go Rublev. But it's again like I couldn't I wouldn't bet that one. But
yeah.
I just feel like he has more to his game at the moment. Like I think Steph just he seems to have nothing to his game. And obviously the backhand is such a liability, especially on a quick surface. So I'd
He
probably
does
lean
seem
Rub
really burnt out, Steph. Like if there's a guy who seems mentally burned out and just ready to be done with the sport, it seems like Steph is the guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which,
dealing.
man, you bring up a good point. Like, what is there left for if Steph can't win a slam? What is there left for him to accomplish? If he can't win a slam and he can't get to number one, like, what is there left for him to accomplish?
He's never won a Masters.
Yes. Oh no, he did. No, he didn't. He win. He won Monte
Oh yeah, yeah,
Carlo.
Monte Carlo a couple times. That's true. Yeah,
Yeah. So what if he
yeah.
can't? If he can't,
He should just hang up his rackets at the Monte Carlo Country Club and just call it a career, and then just like kick his father into the ocean, and then just go out with Paula. I mean, like, come on. There can be worse things in life.
well, that's the point, right? Like he's got other life interests, and like if he really doesn't want to play tennis, like I'm sure he's made plenty of money.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I don't know. Maybe he can be Rublev's psychiatrist. I was thinking Holger Rune's mom should coach Tsitsipas, and Tsitsipas's dad should coach Holger Rune. Wouldn't that be great? I think that would be amazing for tennis.
Yeah, I mean, I like what I don't know why he brings his dad back into the
Yeah.
kind of
And
coaching.
why did
Like,
he switch the racket? Remember when he won Dubai? He like everyone was making this big fuss about switching
mm,
to the bobble racket. He's playing with the Wilson blade again. So like the one thing that worked for you, and then you just go back to the old
I
habits.
don't actually know how much that matters. These guys are not playing with the same rackets you and I are playing with. Like these guys have their rackets all customized up. Like it's not like I think it's. I mean, it could. And honestly, it could just be a paint job, right? It could just be a paint job, and money is probably the answer. Like
Yeah, maybe. All right, let's go into power rankings now. So, we're gonna do three sets of power rankings. We're gonna do high tier, medium tier, and lower tier. So our higher tier is we discussed about some of these guys before, but we'll kind of add a few more. Fritz, Medvedev, Zverev, Musetti, Paul, Humbert, Demonor, and Rune. So do you guys have them written down?
I
well,
do.
you send in the text, right? So I gotta
Yep.
go. I gotta go recall the text because I can't
Okay.
remember nine names
Okay.
offhand.
All right.
All right. Wait, Fritz, Rune, Musetti, Humbert, Paul, Demon, and who else, Manny?
Medvedev.
You, you threw Medvedev, Zverev, and somebody else in there?
Uh, did you say Demonor?
Yeah.
So I guess okay. Why don't you go first, Luke? Since you have them written down.
Yeah. Do you want me to go
Yeah.
top to bottom?
Yeah.
I went Fritz 1, Zverev 2, Medvedev 3, Demonor 4, Paul 5, Runa 6, Musetti 7, and Humbert 8.
Wow. Okay. So where I disagree with you is Demonor. I think Demonor is gassed. I mean, he's mentioned
Yeah.
that after the French. Like it was funny because after that Bublik match, like I felt like Bublik was the professional one and Demonor was the clown by like coming to the press conference and saying like, it's ridiculous that we have to play all these tournaments and this and that. Like he was like whining about the schedule and stuff. And then he went out and lost to I think Lechka first round in Queens, which is
Yeah.
very unlike him. Like that's a type of match that Demonor like eats up alive. Like he always wins those kind of matches against those big hitters and just forces them into errors, right? And like the fact that he's not digging in and doing that is a big problem. Like I don't think like to me, I think he's last in that group, honestly, going into Wimbledon right now.
Mhm. I
I
just
had
think on the surface, though, I think he's like of all of them, he's
mhm.
up there in terms of like the most comfortability on the surface. So that's kind of why I'd be a bit higher on him. But yeah, I agree. Like recently, I'm not, I don't rate his game, but overall as a player on grass, I think he'd be
Yeah,
up there. Yeah.
I mean,
I
that's the question, right? Is it for the next week or is it his overall grass game? Because I agree.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think if we're talking overall grass game, I think Demon's got an argument to be top five. I'm not saying he is, but I'm saying I think there's an argument there if we're just talking overall grass game. right now, nowhere close. I mean, these comments about being mentally gassed for him are really scary because A, we've never heard it out of him before. B, it's like his whole game is out grinding other guys. So if it's not like he's gonna like serve 50 aces and get through a match where he's like gassed out and doesn't feel like playing, but he just serve bots his way through. Um, so yeah, I agree with Luke's first three right now. I've always loved Tommy Paul's game on all surfaces, so I would put him fourth. I actually don't even I don't know why honestly we have these guys all as one group because they're not really like I think there's actually like there's many more tiers here versus the other tiers where it's a lot closer. Like I think Fritz is pretty far separated these guys. Medvedev and Zverev are pretty far separated the next group. Then I've got Paul, with on his own right now. And then after that, I've got probably Demon fifth, and then Rune, Musetti, and Bear all in one big tier. But Demon might be part of that tier now. It's really tough with those comments. But yeah, I think there's definitely some separation here between some of these guys in my eyes. But yeah, it's really tough between Rune, Musetti, Umber. I think I'd go Holger, Umber, and then Musetti last, but it's really tough for me.
Oh
Those
wow.
guys are all really
I'm
close.
much higher on Musetti than you guys are. Like Musetti is right near the Medvedev Zverev, and I I could actually make an argument that he's like between those guys. Um, Probably for this power ranking sake, I probably put Medvedev, Zverev, and then Musetti, and then Paul is slightly after Musetti, and then I have Humbert, Rune, and De Minaur. Um, I mean Rune is immature, obviously, and but he has so much more talent than De Minaur, and if De Minaur is not mentally 100%, like I wouldn't be able to put him ahead of any of those guys, honestly.
Yeah, again, I think like Brad said, it does depend on what. Are you talking about the next week or
I'm talking
the?
about currently,
Okay,
right
yeah,
now, like heading into
yeah,
Wimbledon. Like these are kind of grass court power rankings heading into Wimbledon.
yeah. I mean, I don't think Team North's going to do anything at Wimbledon, so I'd agree in that sense. Yeah.
So like the next tier of guys, it's Lechka, Griekspoor, FAA, Mensik, Diallo, Fonseca, Nakashima, Bautista Agut, Mikkelsen, and Kaboli. I know that's a lot of guys. Um, I guess Luke, you have them all written down. You're the most prepared coming into this pod, so
Yeah.
we'll start with your list, and then we'll see where we agree and disagree.
Yeah, this one I thought was really tough because there's so many. It was like it was hard to kind of put them all in an order. But I went with number one, Lehechka. I just think when he's on, like you have to have him up there. I went Felix, Griekspoor, Diallo, Nakashima, Fonseca, Agut, Mensik, Mikkelsen, and then Kaboli.
Where did you put RBA?
Hold on. Seven.
So he's ahead of Kaboli.
Yeah, I have him at 8. I
Yeah,
have
for me
Kaboli
on
as
grass, I'd say right
well.
now. I don't really like. I haven't bought into Kaboli on grass right now much, to be
Do you think
honest.
all these guys kind of belong in the same tier? Do you think there's one guy that's like
No, I
significant?
think Lehechka is. I personally, I think Lehechka and I think Lehechka and FA have separated themselves in this group. I think Lehechka is above this group. I think Lehechka is number one in this group, and I think there's a fair bit of there's some margin. And I think FA is two, and then I think the rest of this group I think could all go together more or less. I think I would probably put Diallo three. Um, I guess Nakashima four, maybe Griekspoor four, Diallo maybe Diallo three. I know Griekspoor just beat him, but I'd make it go Diallo three, Griekspoor four, Nakashima five. But those guys were all in a pretty close group. Then maybe Fonseca six. Um, Maybe then Mensik seven, Kaboli eight, Mickelson nine, RBA 10. I don't know. I agree with Luke. I think it gets really tough after the first three or four of these guys. Then it gets like I think the way I would prefer to do it is I think Lehechka's cleared these guys. I think FAA is probably a clear second to me. You could put Diallo, Griekspoor in either order. I think they were both pretty close, which is why they were pretty damn close to pick when they played what was it
Yeah.
yesterday, Friday they played and it was pretty close to pick. And then after that, the other six of these guys are all pretty close.
Yeah, I had Greek Sport too. I mean, I might you know, cashing a plus 650 ticket on in Mallorca, helps in that. Maybe I'm a little bit prisoner of the moment there. I mean, he did beat FAA, but I'm not going to be in denial. Like FAA was the better player for a set and a half there, and like Grigspor kind of just stole it from him. So, um,
One thing with Grigspor guys that's kind of interesting to note. So Grigspor is converting 39% of his break points so far this year.
but that continued in Mallorca.
Yeah, but I mean he's winning. Okay, so so Grigspor's he's converting 39% of his break points. He's winning 32% of his return points overall. Like he's 48th out of the top 50 guys, he's 48th in return points, one overall. He's ahead of Haliz and Impechi Pericard, and yet he's like in the top 10 in breakpoint conversion.
But
So I don't think that's going to keep up.
I think he's just a bit like he's a big moment player though. I think he's always good in the big points. I think he's the same on serve. So I think it's actually a part of his game that he's kind of steps up in the big moments.
So it's interesting because I was thinking that too, Luke, but I looked and like that wasn't the case in 24 or 23. I think
Okay.
24 he performed like right on par break points with return points. And then 23 he was like under, like he actually broke less than he should. So it was
Okay.
a very weird. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's a part of his game. He's like figured out how to play the bigger points better mentally right now, but
Yeah.
I
I
watched
don't
some of
buy
the
it.
match today against
I think
Mute, and I felt like every time it was a big point, he would chip the ball deep and get into the rally. And but like on like normal 15 all points or 30 love points, he just blast a return. Like so, I feel like he plays so much smarter. Like he plays the score a ton. Greek Sport,
Yeah. Very much so. I'd agree.
and I don't know if it's like lack of physical fitness or what it is, but like that's such a big part. I agree with Luke. Like that's such a big part of his game, like the way he plays the score. But
I
it,
like I said, I thought that. Like my initial test was I thought that, but then I looked and like this is a new phenomenon for him this year. So for me, he's gotta prove this because it's a pretty out there thing to do. Like pretty much all the top guys in tennis are the guys who win the most points. Like, like pretty much, right? Like if you look at serve points
yeah.
one, return points one, like it's pretty close to a readout of the ATP rankings by the end of the year. It's gonna take a while for me to buy into this being a thing for Greek sport.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, well, thank you for playing the big points well. I appreciate the plus 650. Thank you. Dutchman for life. Nice. I love it. All right, lower tier guys. We got Mute, Fernley, Brooksby, Rinderknecht, Hamad Medvedev, Mepechi Pericard, Marijan, and Opelka. I had to put a couple serve bots in there. Um, Luke, you go first. You got them all written down.
I went Fernley, Medvedev, Mute, Brooksby, Pericard, Rinderknech, Opelka, and Marjan. I didn't want to put the bots up there, so
So, do you think any of these guys belong in the next tier, or do you think that this is a
I
pretty accurate tier?
in terms of grass rankings, I'd have Fernley up there, and I'd bring Cavoli down a tier.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
I think. Yeah, I think Fernley's the only guy who I'd probably put up there, maybe.
So, I have Mute one in this tier.
Okay.
I just think the way he constructs points is slightly better than Fernley. More variety, more variation to his game. I think he's beefed up his serve a little bit. Um, I don't know. I mean, Mute, we talk about him being a clown and just very mentally volatile, but I got to give him credit. The guy competes really hard. Even
Yeah.
when he's like chucking rackets, like he still kind of has his mind on the task. Like I feel like what we were praising Rublev a couple years ago, when even when he was berating himself, like he would kind of get back to meat and potatoes tennis, and like I feel like Mute is doing a good job of that. Some of the
I
answers
think,
obviously are bad, but he's
yeah. I
producing.
think Mute has a game where he can kind of trouble anybody like with the way he plays, but just in terms of like a pure grass game and how I'd rank them, I'd put Fernley above him. Just I like his serve, and he's got the big game which kind of translate well to the grass. But I think Mute's game can trouble anybody with the way
But
he plays.
Fernley has a lot of duds. Like I feel like
Yeah,
he played really well.
against Kaboli, and then he threw in like 30 errors in like 16 games
Exactly.
against your own.
but I there was he hurt or something that day? Someone said that to me. I didn't know about it though, but I think there was something wrong with him that day. But also like double faults are an issue for him too, which I think he needs to fix. That's been a thing for a while. So yeah.
I've
Yeah.
got an issue with this list in general. I think that like, and I'm not really. I'm partially blaming your list, man. I also think it's just kind of a fact of life with these lower tier guys. Like, I don't think just saying a grass court is good enough. Like, if you put this in Stuttgart, I'm raising the bots and I'm raising like a Rindernet quite a bit.
Mm.
Um, and if you put this in like Eastbourne, right, or Mallorca, where we were this past week, then I'm going to raise up Fernley and Mute. Fernley's probably the one who's at the top of this list, generally speaking. But yeah, I think it really depends on a little bit depends. Like some of these bots really need a really fast court, right? Um, and Opelka, I think Opelka is probably the most court dependent of these guys. Like, and Petchy to a little bit lesser extent, because I think Opelka needs like he also needs a bouncy court. Because if the ball's low, Opelka just can't play tennis. Like he just can't like if he's just gonna call it a go track and whine and just slap the ball in the net. Like it's so it's yeah, it's I think this really depends on the specifics. Also, if like there's wind, right? This list changes quite a bit actually. If the ball's bouncing or not bouncing, but it's more just a function of like once you get to 50 to 100, like all these little things matter so much more for these guys than when you get to the top 50 and all the guys are like pretty good in a lot of different conditions. It's part of what makes the top
Okay,
50 guys top
let's put
50 and
these guys
past
on
the
a
50 to
Wimbledon.
100 not.
So let's put these guys on a Wimbledon court. Then what do you rank them? Like for me, I
How
have
windy is it? Well, what is the wind,
That's the
Manny? And
biggest factor in
what
it.
specifically? What are the gusts? What are the
what
gusts?
are the gusts? Okay, let's say like 7 mile per hour winds with like 13 mile per hour gusts. All right, let's call it that. 13 and a half. 13.5 mile per hour gusts.
um,
I mean, for
yeah,
me,
I mean, I do agree with Luke. I think Fernley is clear of these guys. I don't know if he's in that next tier, but he's kind of in between. He probably is if you're going to put RBA in that next tier. Um, but then I think otherwise these guys are all pretty close. I mean, obviously with Hamad, it depends on like his fitness level. So like if he played a long match before, probably not so good. But if he's coming out fresh and if it's 3 sets versus 5 sets, makes a difference for Hamad. Um, but I would put Marozsan last by a fair amount. I really don't like Marozsan's game on grass. Um, Mute really depends on the matchup. I think he's a really matchup dependent guy. Generally, I'd probably put I'd probably go Fernley Rinderknecht. The two probably Fernley Rinderknecht, Pericard, Opelka, Mutet, Hamad, Marozsan. But
okay,
it really depends on a lot of things. These guys are all
Yeah,
really
add
close.
in Brooksby. Where does Brooksby fall in?
So Brooksby then if it's not so I actually this is my take. So we can get into my Brooksby because I wanted to chat about Brooksby.
Yeah.
I feel like there's like certain guys, and I don't know if you guys should take something, but like I think he's like a bad conditions player. Like he
yeah,
almost needs the conditions to be a little bit mucky. Like it was really windy in Eastbourne this week, and I think that really helped him. Similarly, like he did really well in Houston. And that's just like a really goofy court. Like it's like not really a clay court. Like I feel like he needs like difficult conditions. Because he's got a great attitude. Like he really is a pest, man. You're absolutely right. But unlike like an Ugo Carabelli or like a Jesper de Jong or like one of those like kind of pusher type of pests, we use like the 5 to 7 UTR term pusher. Um, unlike that, like Rooksby is actually like he does inject pace really well. Like he does
Does.
like he plays like a really really like he does everything that you and I talk about in this podcast, man. Especially you about wanting guys to do. Like he does.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have like the traditional game to go with it. So I feel like if like conditions are good and guys are playing well, like there's nothing he can do because his top level is just non-existent. Like he doesn't have the stroke in and stroke out. He doesn't have the serve to even really compete at the ATP level. And it's why you see him lose matches to challenger guys. It's why you saw him lose a qualifying match here in Eastbourne, right? But
Yeah.
like if the conditions are bad and guys are struggling, he's got a great attitude. He's got a great like mind. He really focuses and does really like unique, weird, but smart things. So like he's got that ability to win matches he shouldn't win as well. But like it's like it really like him more than there's a few guys Carbias Baena is another guy who I think is like a bad conditions kind of
I
guy.
think
Like
Alexander
the worse
Muller
the
is
court is, the
another
better
guy.
it is for Baena.
I think Muller is another guy.
Muller's another guy like that. Yeah,
They do it in more
yeah,
conventional ways, but Brooksby's probably also better tactically than those two guys.
but he's not as good of an athlete.
Right. So, yeah.
Look, would you agree with that? Do you think Brooksby's like a
I agree.
bad like he needs the game to be a little bit mucked up in order to do well?
Yeah, I think he's just got a messy game. Like to be honest, he's one of the guys that I really can't, like, I find it hard to price his matches because he can just, anything can happen. Like, I don't know, I really don't know how to kind of price him. But yeah, I think he's just got a messy game. I think, like you said, like the kind of scrappier it is, the better it suits him. Yeah.
I mean, he's a good guy to back as a dog,
Yeah.
against a guy who can't problem solve,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, who did he play this week? Just a list of
Well,
guys.
but that kind of makes sense, man. But then, like, also, I guess as a dog, I guess with the caveat as a dog, because like he also lost a qualifying match to like I can't remember who it was to, but he got in as a lucky loser, so he lost it, and I'm pretty sure the guy who lost the qualifying match who was somebody well outside the top 100.
He beat Humbert,
I'm trying to look up who it was.
Borges, and Comasagna. I mean, Brad,
And I lost to Bukic. That's not a terrible loss. He lost to Bukic in qualities. That's not a horrible
yeah, it's not terrible.
loss.
But
I think he
Brad,
was,
you
oh,
backed him against, or you backed Borges, Evans, and Humbert, right? This week?
Yep.
So that's
Well,
why.
no, I didn't back Humbert. I didn't back. I stayed away from the Humbert Brooksby match, but I backed. You talked me off of him against the Humbert match, but I definitely backed Evans and Borges. Yeah, but I think where I messed up was not realizing the whole like if the conditions are bad and it mucks up the game, that's really good for Brooksby. And I think that was the miss on me in the handicap that I'll need to make sure to adjust for him going forward. Like he needs something in the game to be mucked up. That's my opinion.
Mhm. It was really windy in Houston too, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he win that event as a lucky loser as well?
Either a lucky loser or he had a non-traditional entry, whatever it was.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I gotta go grab a charger for this really quick for the laptop. If I'll be 2 seconds.
Okay.
He got a qualies into the wild man. He got a wild card into qualies, and then he won it as a qualifier, coming out of the wild card into qualies.
That's amazing. Crazy.
He came back from down a set against Federico Gomez in the first round of qualies,
Wow. And it ended
and
up
then went on to win the tournament, beating Tommy Paul in the final.
that's
Or
crazy.
sorry, in this no,
That
Paul
must
in the
be
semis.
that's an
In the finals.
all-time run. That's an all-time run.
Yeah, I can't remember a guy coming out of the wild card of the qualies to win an event. Like
Was it the guy who was that guy that won those two tournaments?
Burgos, Estrella Burgos.
Estrella Burgos, yeah. Wasn't it
Like
that
he
that
was
guy?
like a borderline top 100 guy.
Estrella Burgos. But didn't he qualify to win? And then, bless you, didn't he qualify and win a tournament?
He very well may have, but I would think he would have qualified as an. I mean, there have been a few qualifiers that have won tournaments. I think it usually happens like once or twice a year. It's just like in a 250. Like
Yeah.
what's rare is like
Oh, he may have been a lucky loser to win a tournament, right?
yeah,
Because I
yeah,
remember Quan did it also in
yep,
Brisbane
he
one
did
year,
do it.
right? I
In what was it one of the Australian tournaments he did it?
think it was Brisbane.
Yeah, I think yeah. Australia, New Zealand, that part of the world.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so we'll take a quick break and then we'll get
Yeah,
into the Wimbledon stuff.
awesome. All right, yep.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the pod. So let's transition to SW19, third Grand Slam of the year, Wimbledon. I guess before we get into the draw, let's just talk about like overall conditions, tournament overview. So I guess like it's the most standard grass court of them all, if you want to put it that way, right? I feel like it's been playing slower the last couple of years.
That's my feeling as well watching it. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would put it as like pretty slow grass. I don't know. I think like yeah, I would put it. I mean, it's certainly. But then again, it feels like on the tour there's so few grass courts. Like you got fast grass, which is basically the German grass courts, and I feel like everything else is like pretty slow grass. Like Queens is pretty slow for grass. Eastbourne's pretty slow for grass. I think all the British grass court tournaments are pretty similar in terms of playing conditions. That's just my take. Maybe Eastbourne's a bit slower than the other two, and especially with the wind. Like the wind usually isn't as bad here as Eastbourne. Um, but yeah, that'd be my take.
Yeah, I agree. Um,
Interesting note, like the weather, at least for week one, seems really nice. Very, very little rain, which is a rarity. I think Wednesday is expected 50% chance of rain. Thursday's at 20 from what I'm seeing, and Sunday's 25. Obviously, depending on which site you use, going to have different like weather modeling, but yeah, very like pleasant weather and hot. Temperatures of almost 90 Fahrenheit. So I don't know what that is in Celsius, like something in the range of like 30 something, but well over 30 degrees
Oh, wow.
Celsius
and for
for
the Opelkas and the Rindernecks of the world, I mean, half a mile per hour of wind means a lot, as we talked about in the last segment. So what's the wind?
under 10 miles an hour for all three of the first 3 days.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean the other takeaway I have from this too is like, I feel like sometimes if the big guys don't have enough advantages already, they get an extra advantage when it's rainy because they get to play when they want to play. But not
Yeah.
when they want to play, but they play when they're scheduled because the two courts are roofed. But it's not. I don't think it's going to matter as much. If they can just get the first 2 days in without rain, after that they can get most of it done indoors.
Yeah, it's a big advantage to the top guys. I mean, it's true. It's true. All right, so let's get into the draw here. So we'll talk. We'll start from the top, but the top half plays on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Bottom half with Alcaraz being the defending champion, he'll play Monday. They'll play Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So let's go through quarter by quarter. Can go over our takeaways. So we'll start at the top. Yannick Sinner, number one seed, he'll play Luca Nardi. Sang will play Vukic. Pedro Martinez will play wildcard Lofhagen. Mariana Navoni will play Denis Shapovalov. Um, Grigor Dimitrov will play Yoshi Nishioka. Damn, I wonder if are we gonna get a retirement both ways
Yeah,
here?
we're
That, that
hitting
feels
it.
that feels right. That feels like a one set match because whoever loses the first set is going to retire. Like
This is so true. Komasanya will play Corentin Moutet. Offner will play Hamad Medvedev, and Monday will play Tommy Paul. So, what catches your eye here? I guess we could start with Luke.
In terms of matchup or
Yeah,
kind of
just in
who?
terms of like any upset potential, any like interesting matches that you really want to watch for any particular reason.
Well, I mean, I think you would almost call it an upset if you looked at the rankings, but in terms of like Lofhagen's a big favorite, but I think he's one to watch. I'm not sure how much people will have seen of him, but he's got a really nice game for grass. He's got a big serve, just a good service game, and he's overall like his game really suits grass. I think he's a big favorite now to Pedro, but and I
Wow.
think rightly so. And I'd be interested to see how Ofner and Medvedev goes as well, because obviously you have Medvedev kind of physicality concerns over 5 sets. If you have those concerns, and then you have Ofner obviously just had that meltdown against Navoni, so it'll be interesting to see how he comes in. And yeah, those would be the main two I'd be kind of interested in from there.
you think Lof,
And
well, you
Monday
think
actually against
Lofhagen
Tommy
because I
Paul
mean
is
I feel like Lofhagen's a pretty good big favorite against Pedro and Shap's got. I haven't seen the line on Shap Navone, but that's Shap's got to be a big favorite there.
yeah,
Do you think Lofhagen can beat Shapovalov? I think he could. I don't. I
yeah.
think I don't like Shapovalov's game on grass. Um, I'm not saying I would favor Lofhagen. I'm not saying it's 50-50, but I think there's some sort of live chance for Lofhagen there. I'm not really quite sure what that percentage is, but I think it's like, well above like I think it's something in like maybe the 30-ish range. Like I think Lofhagen's somewhat live there as a dog against Chapo.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
would
like there
agree,
are
definitely.
not many dogs that aren't live against Chapo, right? Because like so many of Chapo matches revolve around whether or not he makes errors or not, you know?
But I actually don't. But my point. But like, I agree with Luke. I really like Lofhagen's game on grass. I really don't like Shapo's game on
I don't
grass.
necessarily agree with that. I mean, he made semis of Wimbledon in the past. I mean, he's played well on grass in the past. I think it's just up to him what he's feeling mentally and whether or not he hits 100 errors or not.
I think even if he does play well, I think George can cause him some problems. I think he's got a really nice game for grass.
So you'd
Like,
like a
and
plus 1.5 sets or something like that, or
yeah, and well, it depends. I don't know how they'd price that, to be honest, but like against anybody, he's gonna do really well behind his serve. He's got a really nice service game, and yeah, I think he can definitely make a run if he plays well and kind of gets the
I agree with that. I would be amazed. I don't know if we'll get it, but I'd love to get like a Lofhagen to win a set at like some sort of reasonable like minus 130, minus 140 price, like a Lof or like an over 3.5 sets, like a minus 130, minus 140. That would be kind of amazing.
I actually think it'd be a lot closer than that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would have
I
it a
think it
lot
will be
closer.
too, Luke. I'm saying I hope. I'm not saying it'll be
Yeah.
that way. I'm saying like that's
Yeah.
like I'm praying that somehow the market doesn't see Lofhagen, but I think you're right. I think it's a little too
Well,
obvious.
I mean, when
biggest
you look at his probably his data in terms of his ranking is quite low, so maybe people look at that kind of thing.
yeah,
But
perhaps.
obviously, like that all comes from kind of injuries and things like that. But in terms of his actual game, I think he could actually make a run. Yeah.
Biggest threat to
I mean, the thing to look at with Lofhagen is like, and because I agree with you, I think he does have the chance to do well, but his grass data is not great, which
Yeah.
means he might get a decent price there. I mean, he's only last 2 years on grass, he's only 5 and 10, and most that's at the challenger level. So you might get a decent
Yeah.
price.
But it's strange that the market seems to love him here against Pedro, which I mean, maybe
Well, that
they.
might be just the market not loving
Yeah.
Pedro,
Yeah.
right? That'll be the
Exactly. Yeah.
question.
and the market does
But
tend to like Chapo.
yeah.
He was favored against Kaboli, which we thought was a misprice.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Any threats to Sinner? I would say
No.
no.
I mean,
No.
not in this first 4 rounds. And Paul's a fun player. He'll make the fourth round and get crushed by Sinner.
I
Like
agree.
I'll be
Yeah.
interested to see what that, Manny, a lot of times Bovada has like those specials markets out there for like if there's like a Sinner and Paul to meet in the tournament, that seems like a must hit because I don't see anybody in this section beating Paul. I mean, theoretically Grigor, but Grigor has looked he's been so non-Greek. I
Yeah.
mean, like if he's fit, is he fit? I have no idea. I don't trust
I
that
mean,
he is.
Hamad could potentially redline for 3 sets and find.
Yeah, but Paul's a really tough guy to redline against.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. All right, next section we got Shelton and Bolt, Rinky and Gofan, Kovacevic against Fucsovics, Monfils against Humbert, Nakashima versus Yu um,
It's
Shevchenko.
Boo Yun Kao Kete, Manny. Boo Yun Kao
Yeah, I'm not
Kete.
even bothering with that anymore.
Say his full name.
I probably butchered it on previous pods, so I'm not going to go there. Shevchenko and Opelka, Farias, Sonigo, Basilashvili, and my guy Lorenzo Musetti. Um, I think there's some interesting matches here. I mean, I actually think Bolt can trouble Shelton. I think Shelton is actually worse on grass than clay, ironically. Um,
Maybe altitude clay. I would disagree with sea level clay. Maybe altitude clay.
okay, but then again, he plays up in slams, so it's kind of hard.
But does he like last year? He had a hard time at Wimbledon, didn't he? Didn't he go five? Did he go
He
5 sets with
still
Bellucci?
made the fourth round and nearly took a set up Sinner in the fourth round. Like it was,
Yeah,
I mean, he went
but it
five.
was 5 sets with Shapo, 5 sets with Bellucci, right? Like it wasn't the prettiest run.
But when is it with Shelton? I just feel like he needs that extra time, and he's said this before in interviews. Like he loves the best of five format because like physically and mentally he's always there, right? So like that's half the
Yeah.
battle sometimes. Um, I mean, I really like Ugo Humbert to make the fourth round here and play Musetti. I really think they're on a collision course, to be honest. I
Is
guess
Fucsovics scary? I mean, Fucsovics, he's not going to go further than the third round, but Is Fucsovics, and can Fucsovics beat Humbert? He should beat Kovacevic.
He'll take a set. Like I mean, that goes 4 or 5. I probably play like Ugo over 20 and a half or 21 and a half if they have that line, you know? But I don't think so. I mean, I feel like you like Ugo more than I do on grass.
I love Humbert in this set. I mean, I think Humbert, this section to me screams Humbert versus Musetti. Nakashima is a nice player on grass, but I think Musetti's a terrible matchup for him. Um, is my take there. Plus, if Nakashima plays Opelka, that could be 3 or 4 tie breaks. I don't see Shelton. I think Humbert would beat. I think I would pick Humbert to beat a Shelton. I think he's a better grass quarter. So yeah, I think this to me this section is Humbert and Musetti, and I would love to see that matchup. I think it'd be a really fascinating matchup to watch.
Okay.
And you guys don't think that Monfils is live against Humbert, no?
Not on grass.
Yeah.
I don't have anything on it at the moment, but I think like I consider playing some overs. Like I don't think it's gonna be straightforward, to be honest.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel like a game that'll be straightforward. But I don't know what I don't know how it's priced at the moment. I think Monfils is somewhere upwards of like plus 200-ish, which I do think is a little big, but yeah, I think Humbert wins, but I don't know is it that big of a disparity.
I mean, I could pull it up. Yeah, plus 200 for Monfils. Over under 40. I mean, that's a pretty high over under, honestly. I think that's priced pretty accurately, honestly. Just looking at that. Like Humbert has a very low margin game, so I feel like he rarely wins in straight sets.
Yeah.
I
What
mean,
I was actually considering playing, like I was kind of looking earlier, was at it over 4 sets. So if it goes ends in 4, you get the push, and I that's a
I
game
like
I
that.
could see going
I
5.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
What price did you get on that?
I haven't played it, but I think it was like plus 128, something like
Okay,
that.
that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Because you have the push insurance. I don't think it ends in straight, so I think
Yeah.
you get the.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, no one can trouble Sinner. That's the thing, right? Like, this is Sinner's quarter to lose. And
I mean, the only one I think if I had to pick somebody besides Sinner, I'd pick Humbert. I think stylistically, like a low ball is probably your best shot is that low ball from Humbert. That low slice serve. I don't think Humbert's going to beat him, but like if I had to pick a second guy in this quarter, I want to see a price on to be Humbert. But I think I saw it was like 15 to 21 to win the quarter, something like that, which is a terrible price.
it is.
Like I need a lot longer than
I'd
that.
probably pick Shelton, honestly, just to win the quarter, like, as a second guy here. More than
Just
Musetti,
pray he hits like 60
ironically.
aces or something. Like that's the problem. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
Sinner's hard to ace. He's one of the harder guys to ace on the tour. Then again, an ace is an ace. So like it's I don't know. I hear you. I don't think it's
Sinner
like, I
also
don't think it's a
plays top.
ridiculous
Like,
take.
I think Shelton has a better chance than Musetti, even though I'm higher on Musetti than Shelton, obviously. I just think Shelton has like that bigger game that he can like find something in one match, you know?
Well, that's the point, right? Like the second and third best grass quarters in this quarter are Paul and Musetti. Like
Right.
I think pretty solidly.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe Blue disagrees, but I think those are the two best guys in this quarter than Sinner. The problem is they're both terrible matchups. Like Sinner is just such a good matchup against both those guys. Like those guys aren't beating him.
Yeah.
I think it's just a thing of no one here beats it gets close to Sinner. I think it's really
Yeah, that's the
kind
point.
of that
I mean, if
easy.
you look
Yeah.
at quarter prices, Sinner's minus 450, which is
Yeah.
accurate, honestly. I mean, Sheldon 900, Musetti 10 to 1, Paul.
Well, the problem is there's nobody else you can pick here, right? Like I said, like my second favorite guy here is Humbert, but 18. I mean, I was like, I actually looked at this to look at the price, and I was hoping to see like a 40 or like something, something crazy where I would maybe look.
40, that's cute.
Exactly. Yeah, 18 is not interesting. Like that's because you're right. I mean, like, does anybody here have a better than 10% chance of beating Sinner?
No.
No.
Right? That's the problem. So
And then you have
like,
to get there in the first place. So it's like,
and they're all gonna fight each other out to get there. So
yeah,
yeah, I
exactly.
agree. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, second quarter. We got Jack Draper, then the four seed. He'll play the South American King, Golden Swing, king Sebastian Baez, but can't
Too
play.
bad they're not playing in South America.
Yeah.
Yeah, and too bad the court is green as well.
Yeah, look at my thing. Yep, the course will be green. London, I
Yeah.
look up London, that is green. Yep.
Collignon will play Chilich. James McCabe, qualifier, will play Fabian Marjan. Jaime Munar, who we talked about earlier on the pod, will play Alexander Bublik. Flavio Caboli will play Zhukayev, a qualifier. Tomas Martin Echeverry will play Pennington Jones. Marcos Giron will play Ugo Carballi, and Hugo Gaston will play Jakub Mensik. Uh,
Luke, you're more tied into the Challenger Tour than probably Manny or I, but I occasionally take an occasional watch of a college tennis match, and Pennington Jones is kind of an interesting guy. He's got a really nice draw here.
Yeah.
Kind of like I don't know if he's good enough to get through, but he's kind of like what are your thoughts on him in this section? Because I feel like this is a good section for him. He couldn't ask for much better of a draw.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of his first round match, he's very live there, and I think the price is quite big on him. I like his game's good for grass. He's got a good kind of he uses the kind of chip and charge well. He gets to the net very well, and he's got a big, not a huge serve, but he's got a good serve. And yeah, I think Echeverry is a fine matchup for him. If he gets through there, then you've probably got Kaboli. It's not a match that you would say he can't win. So I think he's got a nice draw here. And in terms of like comfortability on the grass and sort of just this how suitable his game is to the grass in terms of how well he gets forward and kind of uses the serve and the slice on grass. I think he's quite live in this section, yeah.
do you potentially like fancy your chances on a rollover with him? If you can get a good price on Echeverry and then a good price on Caboli.
Well, I've played him already against Echeverry, so I've played him in the first round, and yeah, I mean I'm sure
What price did you get?
I think a plus 192, something like that,
That's
188.
pretty good.
That's pretty
That's
good.
pretty
Yeah,
good.
Let's see now. You probably got some CLV on it already. Uh, plus 175. It's still probably
yeah.
pretty good.
I still think that's big though. I don't really get that, but yeah.
I agree. I think that's a little bit big.
So, I mean, this is one for me. This is one of the more interesting questions of the pod. Is Draper Bublik third round potential matchup? What do you think the price is?
I think it depends how they look early and like how Draper's holding up physically, I think is a big part as well. In terms of pricing, I think Draper has to be the favorite, obviously, but does he? I don't know. Does he? I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough one.
I mean, that's why
I'd
one.
say, I'd say favorite, but nothing major. Like probably like a minus 140 plus 115 kind of line you're looking at, I think. Like a
Wow.
Yeah.
55-45 Draper. Like I don't think it's a massive favorite.
Which again, I think is kind of, I don't know, is the market kind of over adjusting to what we're seeing? Obviously, like Bublik's game is amazing, but if they played 2 months ago, you're probably what, like minus 400 Draper? Like, so
Right, right.
I just don't know. I think it's a bit of a jump really quick like in terms of how the market is seeing Bublik. Like, yeah.
And the market has to move, right? Like you can't
Yeah.
you can't it can't be where it was 2 months ago because we've seen too much out of Bublik to keep it where it
Mhm.
was. But you're right, Luke. That's a big jump. It's also like you wonder if the market gets like this is a kind of the elementary thing to see, but Bublik's the one guy who you might see it happen on, where the market like I was, like the best. My story about this is like I'm hanging out playing poke with a bunch of my buddies last weekend, and we're talking tennis because a bunch of them are tennis players also, and they know about my podcast. It says they're like, they're like, oh, you got to tip Bublik to win Wimbledon, and I'm like, that's when you know that's when you know you can't tip them, right? Because like if my buddies who like and they
Yeah.
do watch a little bit of the 250s and 500s, but they're not watching every match. They're not betting the tour. So like if they're saying like the market, like everybody and their brothers knows about Bublik. Like this is like the last call was 2 months ago on Bublik. Like
Yeah.
you're paying full price if you're getting him at this point. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but don't you think, I mean, Draper also, I feel like has regressed slightly. I feel like there's a post-Clay hangover. I feel like the
Yeah.
clay took a lot out of him mentally.
I mean,
He,
that's one tournament, right? He played Queen's
but
Club, right?
no, but not necessarily just the French. I mean, he went really far in Madrid, and then like he went far in Rome as well. He made the quarters there. People kind of tend to forget. Like, I think it was a long grind for him. He really like put everything into the clay court swing, and he's known to be a guy that kind of can fatigue easily. You know, I mean, we talked about this last year when he went into after Stuttgart. He fatigued mentally, and we were talking about how wimpy it was. And then he went into Wimbledon and lost what first round to Cam Norrie. And I just think also I don't think the pressure, the British pressure at Wimbledon, I don't think that's necessarily good for Draper as well. So one of my favorite futures bets that I saw was Draper to lose in the third round at plus 220. I love that bet because I don't think, as you said, I don't think you're going to get that price if he ends up playing Bublik.
No, that feels really good to me. That feels like a great price. I mean,
This third round. So I
And
mean,
like
he's
he's gonna
basically
beat
a walkover in the
Baez,
first
and he's
round.
gonna beat like the corpse that's Marin Cilic or Polonio.
I don't know his Marin Cilic corpse though. That
I don't. Yeah, I agree with Luke. Luke
Ah,
Marin may not be a corpse. That I mean, I don't see him beating Draper over five
no,
sets
but
just because Draper's such a better athlete. But like, I don't think Marin's a corpse. Like that could be a tough match.
and he's been doing well on grass, like in the
Didn't
challengers
he
and
win a
stuff. He's
challenger?
been
Did Marin win a challenger?
yeah, he just won. Was it last week? I think it was maybe Ilkley or
Nottingham or something, right? One of
Nottingham.
the
Yeah, maybe it was
challengers.
Nottingham. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's playing well. He's
okay,
playing the challengers, kind of preparing. So I mean, I don't think he's going to win that, obviously, but I think he's somewhat like
okay,
it's not like a walk. It's not like bias. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, Baez is a walk in the park.
Yeah.
yeah. And I don't think we can. I mean, Munar is probably not going to beat Bublik, right? He just doesn't have the physical tools, and
No.
I don't think McCabe or Marjan will either, right? So I don't know. I love that bet. I'd make a GBM like Draper to lose in the third round.
Yeah, Manny, I've got to think I would too. I'll confirm it later tomorrow with you, but I've got to think so because
Okay.
yeah, I agree. I think like I can't see right. Like, I mean that Draper Bublik match can't be more than 60-40, right?
No. I mean,
Like it's
Bublik
got to
beat
be
him on
close.
clay, which is the least probable surface. And I'm not saying that like Bublik is going to be able to produce that level of tennis that he had in Paris, but I don't think it's necessarily a good matchup for Draper, right? Draper likes rhythm,
It's not just that, right? We were just talking power rankings, and we all had Draper and Bublik between like 4 and 6,
right? That's
right? So like, how far can the market, how much gap can the market have between them? If the three of us all say between 4 and 6, if you poll like 100 tennis betters, like is it like how big is that gap going to be? Like,
right, right. Yeah. So interesting discussion, but yeah, I
yeah.
like that. That's
That
available
next
on.
little bit, but the Pennington Jones section is very interesting section. You got your own in there, Caboli in there. I think it's a very interesting section.
Mm-hmm. Where was it? It was Draper to lose in the third round at plus 220 right here.
Yeah.
And then what's Draper to lose in or what's Bublik?
If you get a nice
He
number
probably he
on
might not
Bublik,
be in there. Oh, there
hmm,
he is.
See Bublik to lose in the third round plus 150.
I'd rather that play nearly.
Really?
Then you're nearly getting a plus 150 on Draper, unless Bublik loses, because I don't think Draper's losing, and like Draper will be the favorite in that one. So I'd nearly lean more to that one. But
Why not play both? You get
yeah,
plus
true.
money.
You can almost arb it unless Bublik clowns out in the first. I don't think he.
Honestly, you could, right? Like you're getting, I mean, well, the problem is then you're getting like something like minus 300 on them both to make the third round, which seems to be like at some point it's getting a little like,
Yeah,
I
you
don't know, a
can act
little.
as though they're there already. You've got like Marjan has talent. McCabe doesn't have much talent, but he can serve. And yeah, I mean, it's not like they're already there, but it doesn't feel likely that they're gonna.
I know, but like when you start doing the math out on it, right? If you need it to be like a minus, like if you need them in order to cash that, if you play both, you need to make like 70% of the time or something. Like
Well, I
once you
think the
start doing
best way to
that
do
math
it.
out, that means like the average chance of each of them winning each of those matches to be like 90 to 95%. Is it? It's probably close. Like Bublik could lose to Munar. Like, if you give me like 15-1 on Munar, does it start to get interesting? Probably.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
But I think the best way to do it would just be kind of work out what you think the price is going to be for every match, and then whatever kind
yeah,
of
that's the
rolls
best
over
way. That's what you
better
gotta do.
is probably the
That's what you
better.
gotta do.
All right, next little section of the second quarter, we got Demonor will play Carballes Baena. Kazo will play Adam Walton. Quentin Halys will play August Holmgren. Demir Zoomer will play Thomas Mahak, the retirement king. Mikkelsen will play Kecmanovic. Jesper de Jong will play Chris Eubanks, former quarterfinalist here. Dan Evans will play Jake Clark, and Alexander Muller will play the greatest of all time, Novak Djokovic. Um, I mean, I really like Djokovic in this section. I don't really see anyone that can like beat him over 5 sets.
Yeah, there's no one there to
There's no
really do
one.
anything to him. No.
It's a really good section. I mean, then obviously if he has to play Bublik or Draper in the quarterfinals, like that's when it gets tricky. But um,
I think the hinge point is all like, how is Demonor like is Demonor feeling ready, rejuvenated again? Like, is playing one match? I mean, look, he's only played one match in the past month. Is that enough? Is just playing one match in a month? Is that enough to get him mentally like reset and ready to come back again? Like, to me, that's the question. Because if it is, then I think he can trouble Djokovic. Like, I mean, he's a top 10 grass scorer if he's right.
I mean, he's
Um,
1 to win the quarter.
what?
He's 9 to 1 to win the quarter. I need to see something out of him before I like really see, can tell if he's right or not.
Well, I think the good thing about Demonor, right, is he actually like. So we can get into this now. Like, I think that RCB test like is a really good test to see if he's like mentally there or not in the first round. Because like RCB is not a good grass quarter. Demon should win that in straights. Let's be real. But RCB is going to show up and make him play rallies. And if Demon's really not like mentally engaged, it might be a good litmus test. And then you might be able to wait around, see if Demon like looks good against RCB, and then plan to win the quarter. Because the 9-1 feels light, man. Like if Demon's right, like I'm not saying he's 50-50 to beat Djokovic, but he's live to beat Djokovic if he's right, and he's live to beat Draper or
Yeah.
Bublik if he's right.
He's live to beat
I
Bublik if he's right. I'm not sure if he's live to beat Draper or Djokovic.
Yeah, I really don't think he can do much to Joker unless yeah, unless Joker's kind of not at it physically. I think like that shouldn't be too much of a problem for him.
I don't know, man. We were talking Draper up as a top 10 grass quarter last year. Like it all, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, well, we gotta move on. We gotta move. So let's go to the bottom half of the draw. So we got Fritz will play Pericard, and then the winner of that will play Diallo or Altmaier. I think that's a really, really tough section for Fritz, honestly, just to get to the third round. Arnaldi
Oh,
will
this entire draw is brutal for Fritz. I mean, his path is Pericard, who's one of the tougher unseeded players, just because like he could serve 60 aces, especially for Fritz, who's not the best returner and win. Then if he wins, he's got to play Diallo, who could beat him. We just talked about how good Diallo of a player he is. Then if he wins, he's got to play Fokina, who's played him really tough the last 2 times he's played him, beat him in Delray Beach. I know Fritz had no bleak, but Fokina got him there, and Fokina was pretty close in Eastbourne a couple days ago.
Yeah, it's a brutal draw. Uh,
Yeah.
and then potentially Medvedev in the fourth round to play Zverev in the quarters. I mean, Zverev might be an easier match than Diallo at this point.
I think the sneaky guy here, what is Cerundolo to win the quarter?
Uh,
I like Cerundolo in that first round matchup.
28 to 1.
I mean, I gotta think through that. I'm not committing to that right now, but that to me feels playable. Like that draw for Cerundolo looks pretty good. Like Nuno, that's a good matchup for him. Billy Harris Lajovic, that's an amazing draw. Kachanov is not good on grass and hasn't looked good in a year and a half, outside of like a
Mackey
little bit
might
of an
take
indoor
it.
run.
Yeah.
And then who else is in that section? Mackey. And then if he beats all those guys, he plays Zverev in the fourth round. He seems to play Zverev or Berrettini. he plays Zverev really well, really tough.
Berrettini's not healthy.
Right. I don't think Berrettini's healthy either. He's still like, I mean, we'll see how the abdominals, if that's healed, but I doubt it because he didn't play any warm up. So like Cerundolo has done very well against Zverev, over the past year. He's beaten him twice. So I don't know, man. I think Cerundolo here is a kind of a sneaky guy to win the quarter
Did
just because
Swindle play any warm up?
Yeah, he
Cerundolo?
lost to Mickelson.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look, I'm not saying Cerundolo's a great grass court player. It's just like
I still need more than 28 to 1 to win the quarter. Like I mean,
I don't know, man.
I don't know. To be fair, when you actually do look at the draw, it's quite a nice draw for him.
it is.
Like
But
who
if
like
you,
like
yeah,
he's got like in my mind, like he's got a really nice draw to the fourth round, and then like Zverev, like of the top guys, not the worst guy for him to play. And then like it's not like anybody in that other section is unbeatable.
No.
Like is he'll be a dog, but they're not unbeatable.
Would you what's Kachanov's price?
Oh, I would rather have Cerundolo than Kachanov.
14 to 1. No, thank you.
I actually think that I actually think that matchup for that Mackie matchup for Kachanov is very tricky in the first round.
I agree.
Like Mackie hits a low flat ball. Kachanov has that extreme Western grip and can't hit low balls. Like, yeah, yeah. Plus, Kachanov I feel like he's so ranked, like based on like name value and like a couple of good runs at this point. Like he's been pretty subpar for a while now.
Yeah, he has 2 semis of slams and a Paris title. Like that's what's holding him together.
Well, no, I mean you're saying career wise or ranking wise?
Career wise. I mean, like those are the good results. Like there's nothing else that's really good.
I mean, like the last year though, he hasn't even been like at his top 10 level. Like he's been or his like top 10 to 20 level. Like he's been, yeah. I rank Kachanov pretty.
I mean,
well.
in terms of quarters value, like this is the section you want to target. I just don't know which guy to go with.
it's definitely the most open and like,
It is.
yeah.
Looking at these prices, Zverev 3 to 1, Medvedev plus 350, Fritz 4 to 1. Like, I don't. Fritz, he has a brutal draw, but he's definitely the best grass quarter of the bunch, I feel. But the draw is just so bad. Like every match is just going to be such a battle. You know?
I don't know what pair card is going to be like for him, but I definitely think Diallo can trouble him. But I don't know how much trouble he's going to have in pair card. I mean,
I mean, it's like he's like Paracard's not going to break him, but the question is, can he break Paracard? Can he find a break per set against Paracard? That's the question.
yeah, I mean, Safulin generated 17 break
20
points.
break points, whatever, 17 break
Yeah,
points. That's
and I
true.
think that
That's
was in
very true. Fair
Stuttgart.
point. Fair point.
Was that in Stuttgart? It was somewhere fast. And I mean, Felix was breaking him with ease
Yeah.
when they played. I
I
think he
mean,
broke
what
him
like
like
is
four
that the
times.
play? Is Fritz 3-0 the play against Paracard? I mean,
I think the under
maybe.
44 and a half is the play.
I've laid 3.5 with Fritz already.
Late 3.5. You
That might
prefer
be the
Or you
right
just
one.
it's a one break proposition really.
this?
Over three
You
sets.
prefer
I
that
feel.
or do you prefer the under 44 and a half?
Well, that kind of
44 and
gives
a
you the
half is
leeway for
brutally high.
Perker to steal a tie break. You can kind of still cash the spread, whereas
True. True.
with the under, you're kind of relying on Fritz winning 3 tie breaks not to cash the spread also. So, which I mean is possible, but how likely is it that he wins
True.
7-6, 7-6,
I
7-6?
think he finds a break. I think he finds a break or two at some point.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't see anyone that I can attack here in this quarter. You know, like if Diallo was kind of away from Fritz, then I might
no,
consider
Diallo's a terrible draw too. Like that, all those guys in the top part have a terrible draw. Like
exactly.
and I'm not saying I'm going to do it because I get it. He's not the best grass.
If I got 40 to 1, I'd probably be with you, but 28 is just not good enough of a number
Okay.
for me. I'm just gonna stay away.
Yeah, I've got to think about it, but that's the only one I'm even thinking about there.
Okay. All right, and then
Or maybe this Zverev at 3 to 1, man. Like he is like that draw is really nice for Zverev too. Like
I think Rinderknech could be a problem, actually.
not over 5 sets. And the problem is Rinderknech's not gonna be able to like he's not gonna be able to like 1-2 put away Zverev. Zverev's too good an athlete for
And
that, in my opinion.
If Berrettini is healthy, that's a
Yeah,
question mark,
fair. Fair.
obviously.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right. I'm not.
Right?
Yeah, you know what?
Mentally,
You you talk me
he
off
has the
Zverev. It's for me. It's Cerundolo or Boston, I'm not saying I'm gonna play him, but I've got to do the math out on Cerundolo and see if I like it.
All right, bottom section. We got Holger Rune and Nico Yari as a first round match. I actually think that's quite interesting. We got Lerner Tien and Basaveretti.
That's a fun first
That
rounder,
is a
man.
fun one.
I want to see Lerner Nishesh.
And for me, the best first round match of the event is Fernley Fonseca. I think that's fascinating. I think that's a great match to talk about as well. We got Brooksby and Greek Sport, two guys that played the final this week. I mean, that's an insanely good section. Just talk about that those eight guys. I mean, that's fantastic. Yuri will play.
I don't know that it's really that amazing. I mean, look, like we're talking up Brooksby because he made a final this week, but like it could just as easily go the other way, right? We just talk about like how like variable his level is. Um, yeah, Furley and Fonseca are good unseeded players, but I mean, like, and Lerner and Nishesh, I want to see that match. I don't think either of them are like like, or either of them are like in the
Yeah,
top 20 unseeded players in this tournament. I just think it's a fun matchup.
Yeah,
So I
it's an
think it's
interesting matchup, but I don't think either of them have really shown that much.
yeah. I think the
no, I
four
just think it's an interesting
individual
matchup. Yeah.
matchups make it interesting,
Yeah,
right? Like
it's
all.
quite a like a section where it's going to be a battle for anyone to make it out of
If
there,
you
really.
give me those eight guys, I wouldn't want them paired with different guys. Like I like them the way it is, you know? Like
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
That is true for sure.
then we got
And
Uriel.
if Yari played really well in the qualies. I mean, he might be live against Rune to at least take a
He
set.
might be live. Yep, I agree with that. We got Yuri Lehechko will play Hugo Delian. Mattia Bellucci will play Crawford. I don't even know his first name. What's his first name?
I think Oliver
Oliver.
maybe
Yeah,
Oliver.
Oliver.
Cam Norrie will play RBA. That's a fascinating first round match.
in 2010.
Good point. Good
Or
point.
maybe in 2019.
Elmer Moeller will play Francis Tiafo. You got Andre Rublev will play Laszlo Giri. Zizou Bergs will play Lloyd Harris. Adrian Manarino will play Chris O'Connell. Valentin Royer will play Stefano Tsitsipas. I actually think Tsitsipas could lose there. FAA will play Duckworth. Struff will play Misalik. Tarvet, is that another Oliver? I don't know his first name.
Yeah, another Oliver.
Jesus Christ. They'll play Leandro Righty, and
I
then
hope Tarvet loses love, love, and love. I can't. I. I.
Fabio Fognini will play Alcaraz. So, I don't know. This is such a good draw for Alcaraz. It's not. It's ridiculous. I mean, knowing Carlitos, he's gonna find a way to lose a few sets. There's no doubt.
I think he drops the set to Reedy or Tarvet. I think they have the game to take a set off him.
They actually do. They actually have the right game, Luke. You're right. They both have the right game to steal a set.
Yeah,
And
but I don't.
that would be a. I mean, if
That'd
especially
be
if
a
it's Tarvet,
massive
like
plus money. You're gonna get like plus 275 on that,
You
probably.
think?
I
Probably.
think you might get a massive price on if
No.
especially if it's Tarvet, about like 702 or something. Like
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if he drops a set to Fonini, then
that
you
would be
need to start
strange.
worrying. Yeah. What's Fonini
He's
win a
gonna
set
want to
for?
put a show on for the center court crowd. You know,
Yeah,
Carlos. Like he
You
just
know, good for Fognini getting on center court. Like it's probably about the best match we could have
pretty
hoped
cool.
for.
yeah.
Like he's gonna lose, but at least he gets to play on center court. Like
Yeah. But I mean, I think we can agree that there's no futures value here, right? Because of Alcaraz.
No, yeah, no.
There is absolutely
yeah.
none whatsoever.
I mean, ironically, the only really like yeah, I think that like Q3 is you could take a shot. It's tough. You could take a shot. But I think if you want to play a quarters price, it's really Q2 is the place to look. Like Q1 and Q4 are locked. You're absolutely right.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. I Felix 25 to 1 seems kind of big, but I like
But he's
I
got no
wouldn't.
chance against
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like that price to beat. I mean, that's the real price he is to beat Alcaraz, I think, over best of five.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
really, like it's just such a bad matchup for
yeah,
FAA. And
yeah.
like I also think like Alcaraz knows that FAA is a player, so he like remember didn't he smack him like 3-3 here last year?
Yeah, and he smacked him at the Olympics, I think, like one love or two
Yeah, like
or something like that. Yeah, I mean it's so okay. I think the best thing to discuss in terms of futures value is Sinner at plus 185. Like, do you think that there's value there?
I almost like the value more on Carlos at plus 125, but
Really?
yeah,
Do you think the head to head is that much in Sinner's head? Because like
no,
if you look at the French Open, right? That match was so close on Alcaraz's quote unquote best surface and Sinner's worst surface. So you put the match on a much quicker surface where Sinner actually did get him here in 22. People forget about that match, but like
I was gonna bring
feel
that
like
up.
he has to be a
He
decently.
punched.
I wouldn't. I think the head to head is good for Carlos. I think you probably have to put it at Pick'em, and Carlos has won the last two Wimbledons. But if you talk about who's been the better player on quicker courts over the last couple of years, Sinner has been decidedly better. So like if they played again on this court in the final, I think it would be pretty close to a pick. I mean, it was a pick at Roland Garros.
yeah,
You know,
but
so like, how much are we weighing that French Open? Like, is the scar tissue of not converting those match points, is that going to weigh heavy? I don't
I don't think it's
necessarily
that.
think
I
so.
don't know. I wonder is there more of a surface edge on grass for Carlos than there is for on the clay. I like Carlos' game on grass, and I think his draw is a little bit nicer as well. I don't know is it that big of a difference? Plus 125 to plus
I
185, but
mean there's like an outside there's an right like that Q2 like that the Q2 is the Djokovic, Draper, Bublik quarter. Like he could lose to the. I mean, like I'm not saying he will, but he could lose to one of those guys, and I think that's why you're seeing the 125 versus 185.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree with you. I just like the fact that he will only have to play one of those guys to get to the final. You know, when those guys are going to beat up on each other, just trying to get there.
I don't know. I can't. I feel like they're both pretty right again though, right? Like you're. Yeah, I mean it. Yeah, again, like 80% of the hold, though. What's crazy is like 80% of the hold. We got to tell Klaus this again. Remember, Manny? Because Klaus, at the French, like there's this guy, Klaus Fulgard on Twitter, Luke. And this guy was like, oh, there's no way that two guys are going to take up 80%, like
I saw
70%,
that.
75% max. And once
Yeah,
again, we see here 80% of the hold is taken up by Alcaraz and Sinner.
but I think it's justified though. Like
Oh, it's 100%. That's the
yeah,
funny part is that like it's
Right.
justified. It's just
yeah.
crazy to see it. And then
I
which
I
is
think
taking up like
it's
10 to 13%. So again, like the market agrees with you, Manny. This is a 2.25 person tournament.
I meant that as a joke when I put it on the Twitter handle.
But you're not wrong.
Yeah. 2.25. It's not 2.5. Well, I think I put 2.5, but I've downgraded it to 2.25. You got to cut Novak into quarters and just take one quarter, and that's the 0.25. But I don't know. I think I'm going to stay away from the Sinner. If Sinner gets to a plus 200, I'm probably going to pounce. But
Yeah.
yeah, because we had Sinner, what? We got him at plus 250 at one point to win the final.
Yeah.
Right? I think that was during Madrid, and we got good CLV on it. Like I have no regrets on it. He had three match points to win the tournament. Like it's
And he surfed for the tournament. Like, I don't know what more we can ask for. Like, he had three match points and he
Yeah.
surfed for it.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
but Draper at 12 to 1 is a joke considering the draw. It's just like, it's isn't it insane like how far Zverev has regressed that he's now 33 to 1 to win this?
With that,
It's
it's a
also his
bit.
worst surface.
Yeah, but 33 is kind of big. But
It's big. Yeah, I mean,
33 is big. But the
it's
problem is like, can he and actually, like I say this all the time. Manny always disagrees. Like Zverev has all the tools. He just doesn't have the head.
I mean,
But he's got a good serve. He's a good enough athlete. His backhand's good enough. He can come into net. Like
I mean, I'm of the belief that I think he wins a slam, and I think he's probably the next person outside of Carlos or Sinner to do it. To be honest, I
I,
think,
I hope not. Like, I hope you're wrong because I
uh,
just hate his attitude. I hate his
yeah,
lack of accountability, blaming everyone else, just whining about, calls and it's just like I just can't stand like he's just so unlikable.
To me,
yeah,
it's almost
but
like you can't bet him to win at this point until he does it. Because like
He's
every time he gets to the quarters of a slam now, he just like takes a dump.
yeah,
Like,
scar tissue is getting really bad. It's like a bad hemorrhoid.
I mean, I get like he only made the final really of that Australian Open semi against Novak was terrible. Like Novak couldn't move, like Novak couldn't play, and he still almost won the first set. Like,
I know. So one bet I really like actually is Djokovic here to lose in the semifinal at plus 260,
well, that's basically playing to win the quarter, right? What's his quarter price?
minus
yeah. I don't even
minus
know that he wins the
minus
quarter
110.
because you've got
Well,
Draper and
actually,
Bublik.
that's a good price then. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the better price because like, do you really think he's the favorite? Like that's what in decimals that's 3.6 versus 1.9. So like that means he's close to pick in the semi. He's not close to pick if he makes if he makes the semis.
Exactly. And it's going to be center waiting for him.
But I don't know how right that quarter market is in having him at minus 110. I
That's
think
the
it's
problem, Luke. You're absolutely
yeah,
right. That's the problem. The problem is the quarter market, right? That's the problem.
yeah.
Good point. But if
You're
there,
like, look, like Sinner could like he could get hurt, he could get sick. Like that's happened to him before. So like, so you got to fade that. He's got to win the quarter, and then he played well, and he still didn't come particularly close to playing to beating Sinner. But it was three good sets. He did serve. He served for the third, right, Manny, at the French against Sinner.
Djokovic, yeah.
Yeah. So like he could beat Sinner. I'm not saying he will, but he could. Like he's got maybe like a 15-20% chance, maybe.
But like right now, center to lose in the semis plus 275, and Djokovic is plus 260. But I don't really understand that pricing.
Well, no, because Sinner is like minus 450 to win the quarter, right? So he's gonna make the semi. So that's basically like the market's saying he's gonna make the semi. So that's basically the price of him losing.
I
I
got it.
don't think that's right either, Manny. I agree with you, but that's why it's a higher price, is because
That
he's gonna
makes
make the
sense.
quarter. He's gonna make it there.
All right. All right. Well, let's head right into the fantasy draft. We're slightly behind schedule, but let's get into it. So this is a kind of a fun exercise we did more of, I feel like last year than this year. But it's especially now that we have a guest, it makes it more fun to do like a snake draft style fantasy for a slam. Um, the category for our fantasy draft at Wimbledon this year will be most breakpoints saved. So it will still reward players that go further into the tournament, but it also kind of takes serving into account. Um, it takes kind of other variables in terms of mental game into account, playing big points well. So I think this is a really fun way to play it. We're just gonna tally and add up who will have the most break points saved at the end of the event. It's gonna be like a side bet. Each of us will put $50 in a pot. The winner will get 100. Second place will get their money back, and the loser will lose.
So
So
basically, Manny, you're gonna be buying me a dinner.
basically, just add it to the tally. So I guess since we have a guest, Luke will have our number one pick. So without further ado, who's your number one pick? I'll write these down. Let me get my
I mean,
notepad.
I was gonna take a different angle on this, but I also wanted to take into account like who I think is gonna go deepest and kind of give up those break points. So I went with Carlos number one.
Damn it! I was hoping maybe you'd take Sinner, but yeah. Ugh.
I
All right,
think
man.
Carlos
Are we rock paper scissoring for
All
a
right,
second?
rock paper scissors shoot.
Just one go. Rock paper scissors. All right, rock paper scissors shoot.
All right, you got it.
I got it.
What do you
I'm gonna
want?
go with Sinner.
Oh, you want number two? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like Sinner. And for me, I'm gonna go with Novak Djokovic. I think it's pretty obvious. I actually was thinking about taking Djokovic two rather than three. If I probably would have taken Sinner two, but I feel like Djokovic is gonna face more break points up to that match, up to the semifinal. So I feel like
Yeah,
he
that's
has
probably correct.
more tendency to save more than Sinner, who's probably just gonna hold to love more often. So, but I mean, I'm happy with the pick. So I go fourth.
Yep.
Um, hmm. I'm gonna go Alexander Bublik.
I'm gonna go Musetti.
Okay.
And
I was
I'll
so
take
happy. I
Draper.
thought you were gonna take Musetti from me, Manny.
I was thinking it was between Bublik and Musetti.
And I'll take Draper.
You'll take who?
Jack Draper.
Draper.
Draper. How many guys are we picking, Manny?
Six each.
Six? Okay. So that's round
Okay.
two.
So Luke, you go next.
This one I had written down earlier and it kind of came up earlier. And in terms of the clutch points that he kind of wins, and I chose Greek Sport for my next pick.
Oh, nice. Love that. It's a good one. Love that. All right, Brad,
All
take
right, see where it just
take
gets
Cerundolo next, your quarter guy.
yeah, I'm gonna take Cerundolo.
You are? No, you're not.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
are?
Yeah.
Oh, I was joking.
No, that's what I'm gonna take.
Damn.
I think he's gonna go far, and like he's not a particularly great player on serve, so he probably will actually face some break points along the way. Like he'll need to break back to like to actually make it happen.
Okay.
It's so funny though, man, that you thought I was joking.
I thought you were joking. Man, it gets tough now. Uh, I'm not taking Dimitrov or Mahak next. I'm not. Just an FYI. My
Okay.
next guy is going to be Ben Shelton.
I like that pick.
Yeah, me too.
Um, and then my guy after that will be I think I'll take Alexander Zverev.
Yeah.
All right, Brad, you're up.
All right, now it gets messy. Um, um,
It's tough here.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is going to be a mess. You got to like balance out like who's actually going to face break point and who's going to go far.
Yep,
Who did you take, man, with your last pick?
Zverev.
I'll go Tommy Paul. He's going to lose in the fourth round, but he might face some break points up until then.
Yeah, he doesn't have the biggest serve, so he does tend to get broken.
Yeah.
So he might, yeah. I don't mind that. All right, Luke, your fourth pick.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see the draw for one person. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how healthy he is, but I'll go Berrettini just because I think he has the serve to save them, and if he's healthy, he can make somewhat of a run. So I'll take Berrettini. And
Now watching withdrawals.
I
I
Well, it's
mean,
funny. I was looking at the draw, and they don't officially like Hubie announced. I think that he's withdrawing from Wimbledon, but they don't have it officially in the draw. They don't have it officially on the draw yet.
okay.
But yeah,
I don't think Berrettini's withdrawing, hopefully.
I don't think so either. That was a joke, but yeah.
Um, and I'll go with Humbert as my next pick.
Damn it, that was gonna be my pick.
Mm.
Now you can just sit and
Ah,
watch me for like a minute, try to figure
ouch.
out. So bear with my next pick. Good steal, Luke. Ah, um,
Why don't you take one Masterundolo?
yeah, that's no. I don't think he's in the draw. And if he wasn't in the draw, he would not be my pick. Um, ah, you know what? Nobody took Medvedev right yet, right?
No one took
That would
Medvedev.
be my pick. He should go a few rounds. He might give away a few breaks for the hell of it.
All right, my next pick might surprise you, but he actually does a decent job on pressure points because like he goes for it and he's pretty proactive in the way he plays points. Flavio Caboli,
All right,
next pick.
Yeah.
I like that pick.
He's got a tough first round though. That's the only concern.
He does, but I'm hoping he faces a lot of break points.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I like.
And then my next pick is gonna be Karen Kachanov. It was between for me it was between him and Fokina. But I think Kachanov has a slightly better draw. Obviously Mackey is tough, but I think he gets through it. And then he should win the second round. And then, I think Cerundolo and Kachanov is pretty 50-50. So I think the chances that he makes the fourth round is decent. So that's where I'm gonna go. So I'm
I
done.
think this, I think this guy's an absolute steal for my last round pick.
Okay.
It could end up being a complete shit of the bed, but I'm gonna go with Demoner. Like if he's mentally healthy and feeling better, he could go pretty far, and he'll face a lot of break points.
My only thing with him is that I feel like I never see him save breakpoints. I feel like he always just gets broken.
I know that's the problem. That is the problem. Like the problem is you need these guys to actually save the break points. Like I've taken the team of guys that will face the break points. They probably won't save them. I completely get it. Yeah, like Cerundolo, Musetti, Paul, Demon, Medvedev. Like I don't want any of these guys to face the break
And
points. So
Sinner
I don't know
will
how they're going to save them. But
he'll save them.
what?
Sinner will save all the break points, but he won't face any.
Exactly. Exactly.
So. And who's your last guy, Luke?
Have I got one more, is it?
You got one more.
Um, I, this one I kind of had a look at earlier, and I don't know. I don't think he goes very far, but he's got to serve, and I think he can save some break points. I'll go with Hallis.
Nice. Who's this first round match?
Um, oh, August Holmgren, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, I think Holmgren.
Yeah.
So it's funny, no one took Holger Rune. Do we think that
He
he's
didn't even
just
come
too
into
much of
my
a
head, to be
crybaby?
honest.
That he's just gonna fold on break point?
Yeah, he didn't even. I didn't even think of him.
No, I mean the problem is he's kind of like that weird middle of like he doesn't have a particularly good draw. He's not particularly like likely to face break point. He's kind of like a weird, like he's kind of a weird middle. But honestly, like I think this like after the first few, this is kind of it's a very difficult category to draft.
It is.
Like I thought it was fun because it's very difficult. Like I think, yeah, like I think you could have different critiques of all of our drafts.
It's just a
Yeah.
fun twist that I feel
Yeah,
like no other pod does it, and it just adds to the tennis talk, you know?
yeah,
It's
Oh,
gonna be like a lot of it is gonna come down to just pure luck on the day of
it
the
is.
matches. So
oh yeah,
yeah.
I'll do a quick recap of the team. So Luke has Alcaraz, Draper, Griekspoor, Berrettini, Humbert, and Halis. Brad has Sinner, Musetti, Cerundolo, Paul, Medvedev, and Demonor. I got Djokovic, Bublik, Shelton, Zverev, Kaboli, and Kachanov. So I
so
think
you
they're
also have to name your team. That's also a mandatory part of this. Yeah, you have to name your. You have until Monday to name your team.
for me. It's going to be the Russian clown show. Zverev, Kachanov,
Yeah.
Zverev.
Zverev, Kachanov, Bublik,
Yeah,
right? Because you have,
yep.
yeah, Zverev, Kachanov, Bublik. All right. Wait, man, you have Kaboli?
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So we'll keep track. It's going to be like fun trash talk on the X throughout the next
Yeah,
few
I'm
weeks.
looking forward to that.
We
This
can
will be fun.
like track every day, break points. Like, oh, I didn't cash my bets, but my guys faced a ton of break. At
Yeah.
least you got something to be happy about if that's the case. So we got about half an hour now to preview some first round matches. So I guess we can go with like a couple that kind of we obviously don't have time to go through each one. Like
Oh,
we
we're gonna go through 64 matches in 30 minutes.
no, we're not.
That's
Uh,
ambitious.
we've done that before. It was crazy, but
No, that was about 5 hours that I go through 64
it's
matches.
insane. So Luke, I guess let's start with you. Why don't you pick like five matches which really caught your eye? You thought you got some good value, and think that it's worth thinking about capping.
I'll just pull up what I've actually played here on Pinnacle. Um, so yeah, it's the first one. I mean, I don't know how many people will be on this kind of play. I have Royer plus 5 games against Steph.
Hmm.
I got that at minus 123-ish. I think the line has moved quite not, I don't think too crazy, but it's definitely moved a little bit.
And now
Um,
it's 4.5. So I mean, you're up.
yeah.
It's good.
And that was Pinnacle's Open, but he got like he got steamed pretty hard. But I think he's got a big game. He can serve and he's very like aggressive from the baseline. And I think guys who can kind of take time away from Steph are the guys who will trouble him, especially on a quicker surface where you can kind of attack that backhand. And obviously, like the caliber player, Royer. I mean, Steph is going to be much better, obviously, but in terms of like the conditions where they're at in their career right now. And just the matchup overall, I quite like it for her. I think he can definitely, I mean, take a set and cover the 5.
I mean, I kind of like the over 3.5 sets at minus 150.
Yeah, that's cheap.
That's a good price. Like even if I like backing Royer here in some capacity, but I can't see him beat winning in straight sets either.
No, no.
I mean, even the 4.5 at minus 120 is a decent play. The Royer set one money line at plus 175. I kind of like all the pro Royer lines here,
Yeah.
honestly.
And that's been themed quite a bit. He opened at a much bigger price.
Yeah. Brad?
At the Open, yeah, I would have been on Royer. I don't know how much value is left at this point. Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, there might still be a wee bit, but I think the value on Royer is starting to get pretty thin. Um, but yeah, I mean that makes sense because he got steamed a decent amount from the Open. So
How about
I might be
money
on it, but it's for me it's pretty close. I mean, I agree with you. It's a good matchup to play but yeah, I mean at first I was looking first set overs because I think Royer is better on serve, but
line?
135 is not a great price for 10.5 games at Wimbledon. So I mean this is one where I feel like the market's kind of set this back pretty good. Yeah.
How about just the money line then at plus 290?
Yeah,
Right.
maybe.
Oh,
What was the money line open, Luke?
oh, I didn't play it. I think it was well into the 300s. I can actually have
Yeah.
a quick look. I think it would have been. I don't know. Did I see a plus 380 or is that am I imagining that? But that number's in my head for some reason.
Ugh,
Um,
shit. See, the thing is, I like to discuss these matches before I play them, especially knowing that we're going to pod, but then the
yeah.
value's gone.
I mean that the Open was definitely big on Roy.
Yeah.
I mean I'd say it's obviously more close to fair now, but 300 is still quite big. I think I didn't actually play the money line. I probably should have, but I only took the games.
I think the 4.5 or 5.5, whatever the game's like, I think it's very valuable.
Yeah, I was gonna say against Steph, I like taking the games.
Yeah.
Or yeah,
Yeah, on Pinnacle
I
he
mean you
opened
could
plus.
always do the dog over combo. play the dog money line in combo with the
Yeah.
over.
He opened plus 391 on Pinnacle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone down basically a full dollar. Yeah, I mean, I still think it's a little like I would probably put Royer at plus 250,
Yeah.
you know? Because I still think there's a little bit of value. Like, there's no way I want to back Steph here. But, Brad, why don't you go next? Match that caught your eye.
Yeah, I don't really understand why Bautista Agut is at pick with Cam Norrie. I've got Agut there at pick. I've seen as low as a minus 104 still floating out there on Agut. So yeah, that'll be a play for me.
I love the over 4 sets here at even money. That's my favorite play in this match. Like, I can't see either guy winning in straights, and like you get the push insurance.
I just think Agut's a better grass quarter than Norrie at this point. I mean,
I don't
like,
disagree with you, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I think
Like,
if it
how
was
does
best
either
of
guy
three,
win
I'd
this?
be more inclined to play that. But I do agree. Like I think he's the side, but I wouldn't say for me pick is probably close to fair in my opinion.
Okay.
Nori has played well at Wimbledon. He's made semis here a couple
And
years.
the
Beat Draper
grass
last.
does give his kind of serve a bit more pop. The wide serve is nice on the grass. I think
I
he
mean, you can't
has.
say the same thing about Agut. His game, I think his game goes really
Yeah,
nice in the grass too. That
yeah,
that flatter attacking forehand.
yeah. I think he's the side I'd lean to, but I wouldn't say it's too far off currently,
Mhm.
in my opinion.
Okay.
I don't necessarily have a bet here per se, but like you're the challenger guy, so like talk to us about Chris Rodesh.
Well, firstly, I'm just saying minus 210. I think it's insane, but yeah, I mean, he's got a game that like you kind of knew he was going to translate pretty well to grass. He hadn't played at all on grass until maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. He lost to Trotter in straight sets, James Trotter, and then since then he's kind of just been picking it up. He beat Kukushkin the week after that, and then he's kind of been rolling since then. But he's got a huge serve and just a big service game, like a big game in general. That obviously he's a quick quarter, and yeah, his game translates well. I think he's been quite undervalued, like in terms of the entire grass swing. Even he was like plus 600 or something like that against Vucevic, but. I mean, I think to see him at minus 210 is a little crazy here, but yeah, he's got a nice game for the surf, so he's a quick quarter, so
Has Carreno Busta played tune-up? I don't believe so.
no, no.
He
Yeah.
played he played
What's the
clay
spread?
court challengers after the French Busta did,
Yeah.
which tells you where his head's at for Wimbledon.
Who did
And I
he
think
play
that might be the
actually?
problem. That might be why it's out at minus 210.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stay away at this price. I'm not getting involved.
yeah.
But
But that being said, I think Buffet is just finished. I think like especially over 5 sets, I don't know how he holds up.
Did he win a match at the French? He straight
He
set it.
beat
He straight set
Komasanya,
it
but
Marchak at the French or something, didn't he, Manny? He. I know he cost me a bet there.
yeah, he beat
Komasanya.
Komasanya.
Or
Yeah.
Komasana, that's right. Wrong guy. Yeah, he beat Komasana. That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
But that's his surface though. I don't know in terms of grass, I don't know how I'd see him.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. All right, so the match I wanted to talk about is Fernley Fonseca. I absolutely love Fernley at plus 165. I
Yeah.
just think I don't really get too involved in the percents. Like I usually have to look them up. I'm kind of embarrassed to say so, but like I don't think I think a minus 150 plus 135 would be more accurate. Like I think Fonseca is consistently overvalued for what he's shown on grass, and on literally any surface, actually. Like, I think the market wants to believe that he is the next prospect and challenger to Sinner and Alcaraz, and he just hasn't proven that yet. I
I've
think,
got a different take here. I think that I just think Fonseca has you don't like one day to the next can be very different for him. Right? Like that still is kind of where he's at because he's a little bit younger. So he's kind of a guy who I just like to like find the plus money sign and click it. So I'm with you here, like with the plus 165.
Mhm.
I think that's a pretty good price for Fernley here. But I think it's just because like I feel like Fonseca is kind of an any given day kind of player.
I think this is also the match where I think the home crowd could actually help for like hurt Fonseca. I don't think like Fonseca is still like what 17 years old. So I think
Yeah.
the British crowd being more for the opposite side is could get into Fonseca's head.
I think if it was any other crowd except the British crowd, I'd say that, but they don't to get too involved really. So
Especially for a first round match like that, like a final or a semi, you start to get some of like the just the idiots there. But like, also, what court is this on?
Court one.
Okay.
Court one second on.
but
I,
also
I
there's
just think
been
this should
quite a
be closer to pick.
yeah, and Fonseca has been steamed a little bit. It opened with Fernley opened at plus 149 on Pinnacle and has been bet up to plus 173 now on Pinnacle. So
They have an over four line. Wow, over four line is minus 110. I kind of like that too.
yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of matches where you can kind of look at that over four because you get the push insurance. So yeah,
Yeah, I love the push insurance. It's really good at that middle number four. Like, I'm glad Bovada is starting to offer those.
Yeah, it's a fun line. I agree with you. It's a fun line.
I played that in the Center Alcaraz match at I think it was minus 120, and I hammered it for like 4 units. Like,
got sweaty going into the third probably.
I was sweating, but
Yeah,
you know, like I feel like if those guys play 10 times, nine of them could go at least 4 sets.
yeah, yeah.
So all right,
Um,
you go next, Luke, in terms of a match that caught your eye.
I don't want to bring up ones that have been steamed, really. I'll take. I mean, I said earlier I laid 3.5 with Fritz.
Yep.
I just I think it's a one break proposition, and I think he finds a break at some point, and you're either relying on him to win a couple tie breaks and maybe lose a tie break or whatever. But I think Pericard serve obviously is going to get him through. Like the only way I think this doesn't cash is if Pericard is just completely red lines on serve, which is possible, but
It's
it's not
unlikely.
the fastest grass. Obviously, it's still quick conditions, but it's not the fastest grass, and I think like he can definitely find the break, and that should cash it. So I like this one.
Hmm. You can play Pericard to win every set, love one and two at what 400 to one.
It's a lock.
That's a lock.
Yeah.
Bobby
Um,
locks.
yeah. Go.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah.
I'm gonna
I do
tail you
think.
on that, Luke.
Sorry.
I like that minus 3.5.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the under 44.5, but you make a good point about losing a tiebreak could screw you there.
Yeah.
Staring at this line, Fritz to win an under 42.5 at plus 140, like that kind of is enticing.
But
But
what's
again,
what?
that's basically a 3-0 on Fritz, unless
Yeah.
he
And what's
plays.
the line for a 3-0?
What about Fritz to win every set 7-6 at 18 to 1?
I
I
mean,
mean,
this is not actually a bad look.
it's not such a bad look.
I'd say the problem is like, look, if they're giving you a set one tiebreak, like is at like basically even money there, close to even, and you think a tiebreak is like once you start doing the math out, it's really not a great price.
I always I'm the guy that plays the under 12.5 at plus money when I get it. I'm probably gonna play it again here.
Yeah.
I actually don't think that's a bad look. Like,
You
I
get
mean,
12 chances
Pericard has
to get
not
that.
been playing well this grass court season. He's been giving up break points left and right. Fritz could find a break in the opening set.
I'm gonna play both.
But actually, what is it? I mean, look, what is it to play Fritz minus 1.5 in the opening set if you're going to play the under 12.5? just play the Fritz minus 1.5 games. Is it really going to ever happening the other way? Like, is
No, I
Pericard ever
don't
getting
think
the break?
Pericard breaks in the entire
Yeah,
match, to
that's
be
plus
honest.
165. That's probably the look.
That's what
Yeah,
I would do.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna play both that and the minus 3.5. I like that. Plus 165 is a huge number.
yeah.
Considering he's where was it? Sorry. Considering he's minus 230 to win the set, but plus 165 to be minus 1.5, like that feels like a misprice.
Yeah.
So
And you're getting 60 cents on the under where
yeah,
Pericard's not breaking. So
Well, that's the point. Like, is Pericard really winning this
yeah.
without a tiebreak? Like, it's only a little more than 10% of the time, but is he even winning? Is that even happening 10% of the time? I don't know. Like, it's I don't see Pericard breaking the whole match.
no, me neither.
Um,
Yeah. My play here, I like Rinderneck in some capacity here. I like the plus 2.5 sets at minus 135. I kind of like the over 3.5 at even money. That's probably where I'm gonna look. Um, I mean, we always say Zverev tends to overcomplicate matches. This is his worst surface. Rinderneck has a big serve. He almost took a setup center at the French Open, so like he's a good competitor who's gonna dig in. Um, like I just can't really see this being totally straightforward. You're getting good lines on him to go over 10.5 and over 12.5. Over 10.5 at plus 120 against the top five players. Not, that's the market is basically telling you that they're expecting fairly close sets here. So I think for Rinderknecht to steal one with Zverev's mental game not being that great, I think the even money on the over 3.5 is a great price.
I'm just having a look at what the spread is there. If you can get a 6 game spread, I think that could be a nice look.
On the plus 5.5.
if you could find a +6.
Yeah, I think I'd rather a 6.
Yeah, that's a decent look. You prefer that or the over 37.5?
Probably the over. It depends. Yeah, probably the spread because then you can cash it without winning a set, you know. Whereas if it goes over, you're probably cashing the spread also.
Yeah, but for Zverev to kind of tail or fade away mentally for a set, or especially if a set gets close and like miss a forehand on a big point, like Zverev is great at doing that.
Yeah, true. Um, I'm just having a look if I can find that match.
For a guy
Yeah,
that has every physical tool out there, he has the weakest mentality I think I've ever seen.
yeah, and it is
Who,
a fight you
Zverev?
have to.
Yeah. But I mean, there's just a massive, just, I mean, like the athleticism and the backhand, there's massive disparities here. Like, massive. I mean, Rinderknecht's backhand is bad. And Zverev is might still have the best backhand in the world. Like,
Can't argue with that. Yeah, but even money for Rinderknecht to win a set on his best surface and Zverev's worst surface, I think it's
Yeah.
a. Are you on anything here, Brad?
I don't think so. I mean, I was actually leaning this Zverev originally, but you guys being pro Rindy there, I think I'm probably just gonna pass it.
I mean, I thought I was kind of thinking it was a 6 game where I kind of like running niche, but once you get into the kind of 5 territory, I don't mind looking Zverev there nearly.
Hmm. Okay, I guess if you're that close, it's probably better to stay away.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's that far off at the moment. I'd say it's about right at 5.5.
Brad, with the Nori Agut, are you a little worried about Agut fatigue after playing a pretty long week in Queens and then a long week in Mallorca?
Um, not particularly. I mean, but you guys bring up a good point of the fatigue. I mean, I don't know. I mean, how long what did he play? Like 2 or 3 matches? What did he play? 3 matches in Mallorca?
Yeah, but it's a lot of matches for a 37-year-old. for a guy that can't really win free points. Like he has to work for everything.
Yeah, but he's got almost a full week off, right? Like he lost in the quarters on Thursday. He's going to have until
It's a
so
month.
3 days off, like for one match. I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to be mental fatigue.
Okay. All right. Next
Boo
match.
you 6.5. Boo you getting 6.5 against, or you can go to this one first. Runyari is interesting, man. You can go to that one first.
Okay. All right. Let's discuss Rune. I kind of like the Yari set one at plus 160.
What's the Yari just to win a set?
The over four is plus 115.
Seen
Yari to win a set is probably crazy juiced. Yeah, minus 275.
yeah.
Under half a tiebreak is plus 250. Wow, that's crazy.
But Yari's been serving really well. I think he made over 70% of his first serves in 2 of his 3 qualities matches. And Yari played really well. He won the 3 qualities matches convincingly, and he beat Lucas. Lucas Klein's a good player, or he can be a good
Yeah, he
player,
can be
and
a
he
good
beat him
player. I
like
think that's
4
a
4
better
and
way.
2. What?
He can be a good player is the better way to put it.
Yeah.
Extremely erratic. I didn't see it, so I can't really comment on it, but like it could have been that Klein hit 100 errors. Did you watch that match, Luke?
No, I didn't get to see it,
No.
but I agree with that.
Yeah. You're right. Klein can be really good or really bad. It could have just been Klein making 100 errors, but Jari did play well in all 3 qualifying matches. I think he dominated all 3 of them. First 2 opponents were Kovalik and Kotov, but still, I mean, three straight set wins in qualities for a guy in Yari who was really struggling is a good week.
Yeah. For me, I think I'm going to play the over four. I love that line. It's so entertaining too. Having the push insurance at plus money, like
Yeah, it's a nice play.
it's great. And I can't see this being straight sets for either guy. Rune is just too immature. Like he plays long matches against like everyone, you know. So I don't want to back Rune here by any means.
Yeah, I,
Mm.
Um, Luke, give
Nakashima Boo. Boo's getting 6.5.
yeah,
And over like to me, this looks like more of an like probably more of an overs play. I don't know that Boo wins the match. I mean, Nakashima's a better grass quarter for sure, but 6.5 feels like a lot. Nakashima's not a good returner. Not and Boo has weapons. Again, don't I mean Boo's and like is Boo's game like what's the problem with Boo on grass? Is it just like it's gotta be maybe more the movement than the shots, right? He's got the weapons.
yeah. I mean
yeah,
that
it's got to
total
be.
feels
It's got to be.
low.
Yeah. I mean, if this goes 4 sets, you're cashing that.
Yeah,
I prefer the over 35 and a half. I think
yeah,
that should be
Yeah,
more.
but I mean, I was thinking. I think you guys might be right. To me, they're kind of similar, but to me, this feels like an overs match. Probably over 35.5 games looks good, or over 10.5 games out there at plus 160 is a decent price for the opening set.
I prefer the full match because like Boo might also like take some time to get used to the movement.
Yeah. I mean, Boo played 2 warm-up tournaments.
I mean you're getting minus 120 on the set spread too, so
Yeah, Boo to win a set, you could play. I mean, that is the question here the market's asking is can Boo win a set?
I think so.
I think he can nick one.
Yeah. Let me see.
Like
So
all the it's a funny match because like the only problem is like Nakashima's just kind of a better version of Boo.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the problems that Boo has, Nakashima also has. It's like Nakashima is just like a slightly better, maybe faster, better server. But it doesn't feel like the gap is that big.
They also look similar.
What?
They also look similar. I'm the only one. I'm the only
I
one.
wasn't gonna go there, but yeah, I don't know, man. Nakashima
Yeah.
is look, just on a different topic. Like I always say this, like I always have so much fun watching Nakashima because like he's so unathletic for a pro quote unquote athlete. Like he's just so slow on the tennis court. Like he can't get to anything. It's like watching Wawrinka, but like a mutt. Like Wawrinka, it's old, so it's understandable. Like Nakashima's young and he still can't move. I just find it to be like comically slow. Like just funny to watch. Like
Yeah, this is one of my favorite bets of the entire slate is laying the 3.5 with Mute against Komasana.
Yeah.
Like, does Komasana has he even played a grass court match? Like,
He
I
did
think
against
he's
Brooks
purely
Koepka.
here for his ranking. He played Eastbourne. He lost to Brooks.
didn't he do something last year? Was it what was the event last year that he beat that he went one of the Grand Slam that he did well in?
It was Wimbledon. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he made the third round
Played
last
third
year. He beat
round,
Rublev
lost
and
to
he beat
Musetti.
Walton.
Good point. I forgot about that. He beat Rublev and Walton. You know, but Mute
I
is
think Komasana has the. I mean, I'm almost on the other end of this. Like Komasana is not like your traditional Baez, Ugo Carabelli mold. Like he's got
Yeah,
weapons.
I agree. And the serve
I'm
in
almost
faster conditions is nice.
170 looks pretty good here to me actually on the money line. Like,
coming off. You know what? You're talking me off of it.
Mm, I don't.
Coming off the
but
the
now I'll talk the other way. Do you like? I feel like Komasana's got good weapons, but like, is do you want him against like a weird kind of ball striker like Mute? I feel like he'd be better off in like a more of a ball striking kind of matchup than a matchup against a very unorthodox player, Mute. So maybe not. I don't know. I think there's a lot here to think through. Mute matches are always a lot to think through.
and they
Yeah,
have an over 4 line. Yeah, even money.
Just play over four in every match, man. You know you want. Just
honestly though.
play over four in every match and let's see how it does.
Minus the Sinner, Alcaraz, and Djokovic matches. Just played it every match.
Well, I do like it in the Umber match for sure.
Ooh, I'm very.
A match that I thought is an interesting talk through because I think he's always an interesting guy to discuss. Kazo versus Walton. Like
Mhm.
Walton's a pretty significant dog here. I feel like both these guys. Well, Walton he just doesn't play. I don't know how much he's played on grass, but like Walton should be good on grass. Kazo should be good, period. But I feel like both these guys, like, I feel like Kazo just like underperforms like his level. I know there's some physicality issues there, but I feel like he just consistently underperforms like his skill level ever since that run in Australia back in 24. Minus 200 feels big here,
Yeah,
but I also like Kazo has the better weapons, but like he just seems to constantly underperform like what he should do. I don't know.
I, I do have a play on Kazoo, but I got it early, so I mean, I think yeah, I'd say it's closer to fair at the moment. Maybe slight bit of value on Walton, but um, yeah, I got Kazoo at. I need to translate it. 1.61. I'm not sure what that is.
That's like minus 180 roughly, probably something like that.
I
Because
think it's more like
1.5 is minus 200.
160,
What?
60. I think it's more like 160.
You might be right.
I think. Um,
I'd be inclined to take Walton at that price. Like I think
yeah,
that
it's 162 is where I got it.
All right.
But yeah, I don't disagree with that. Overs are good there too, I think.
Yeah, I just feel like just me. I mean, like, because I get it. Like, Kazo is like you like when he's when he's got it going, like he's really good. But I just feel like he underperforms like what he should do.
He was pretty good in qualities though. I would say that.
That is fair.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mickelson against Kecmanovic. I mean, Mickelson brushed Kecmanovic aside on a slow clay court in Estoril. and then you add the surface advantage and like how poor Mio has been. 3.5 seems kind of light. I
I don't
probably
know, man.
take.
Mio to me is such a dogger. Like now, like you put a plus one. I'm not on Mio, but you put a plus 170 next to him though, and like I'm suddenly scared to
Yeah.
fade him. He just plays like that super aggressive, like going for the lines game. And if he's making his shots, like there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
I
He's
guess.
yeah. He's the kind of guy who'll keep every game close in a good or bad way. Like he doesn't really blow people out or get
That could be your over 3.5 or over four, Manny. With Kecmanovic just shooting at lines,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like that could be your over four.
Yeah, I'm also worried about him physically.
Let me see what else
I
I
don't
got.
know why you're worried about Mio physically. Like when has he broken down physically? If anything, like he goes five and he goes five like routinely and is basically
So if you
fine.
look at Mio matches, every time he wins the first set, he loses the match. I think he's done that like the last like 4 out of 5 times or something crazy. He can't like maintain any level.
That may be true, but
Did it
he came
against
back from two
Wiz.
sets down to beat Baez at Roland Garros. Like he can't be that out of shape. I get it. He's got a little bit of a beer gut, but I really don't think like just because you have a beer gut doesn't mean you have like a physicality issue. Like
He won the first set against Halis and lost the match. Won the first set against Marjan and lost the match. Got destroyed by Rinderknecht.
I think that
Won the
partially
first set
goes to
against
what you said
Griekspoor and
before though.
lost
He's
the
got a game. He's got a good like over sets game because like
Yeah,
he's gonna have periods where he just red lines. He's gonna have periods where he whatever the opposite of red lines is like red lines the other way and is like dead.
match. Over 4, baby. That's my line.
yeah.
Next
Yeah.
fire. My name is not going to be Emmanuel Friedman. It's going to be over 4. I also might be over 4 after this tournament, and my bankroll might just be over.
Yeah.
That could be a possibility too. So
Man, the Draper Baez nine and
What
a
is it, a
half
10 game?
games.
it's juice.
Draper Baez 9.5. I know it's a juice 9.5, 10, 10.5, or maybe an under 27. I mean, man, Draper should just hammer Baez, right? Like there could be some 6-2 sets in here for sure. No,
Yeah. 6-1,
like
6
this.
love. Okay,
What?
all of it.
Yeah, it could
Um,
be.
Like this could be a
I don't know that
complete
I'd lay
runaway.
10 though.
Yeah,
Um,
it just feels like. I mean, like what is like? I mean, Baez is the guy that tends to get destroyed in these matchups, right? Man, don't we talk about this all the time? Like Baez's
Yeah,
record against top guys is just awful, especially off clay.
it
I'm
is.
gonna look this up.
I mean, we did this against Fritz at Indian Wells, where we bet him to lose the match 2-1 or love in each
And
set.
it came in at like 10 to
Came in at
1.
like 10-1, yeah. So
Yeah, Baez in his career against guys out, and this is only last 3 years, so it's somewhat relevant. Baez against top 10 guys on harder grass, 0-9. He's won a set twice.
wow, wow.
Like it's yeah.
4 is 11-1. Oh man. All right.
The funny part of that line is that the under is like minus 2,000. Like, so you have like in order to win that, it has to be straights.
I know. I know. Luke, I know you have to probably head out in a few minutes, so give me
yeah.
2 more matches you wanted to kind of touch on.
All right. Just a small while ago, I took a play on Medvedev.
Okay, Ahmad
Um,
gets Offner. You laid the games?
I right now just the money line. I think 150-ish. I don't know what the 1.65. I think it's right around
Yeah,
150.
50-ish, 165. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think obviously like I don't love him over 5 sets, but I think that he's just a better player. And also, you have Offner coming off that. I don't know if you saw what happened against Livoni. I presume
Yeah.
that both you did, yeah. And the retirement and just overall, I'd make this closer to like a minus 200. So
What about the set one? You get a little bit better price, and then you take out the physicality concerns.
yeah, but also there's physicality concerns for Offner also. So more
True.
so than Hamad, I would say.
True. What a
But yeah,
mess.
And I don't know. I might stay off because like you did say it's going to be hot, right? It's going to be like in the 90s,
High 80s, yeah.
80s. I don't like come on in hot conditions. Like he was gassed after 3 games against Altmaier at the French on that hot day,
there was something wrong with him that day, though, wasn't there? Like he was.
Supposedly.
supposedly.
But yeah, I agree.
I also have in the Musetti Philly game, I have over 37.
Another over
Yeah,
four.
I like that a lot. That's a great call out. Like, or Bash to take a set. What is
Yeah,
over 3.5 sets there?
Where is it? There's so many matches.
it's there.
There it
There
is.
you go. I see it.
It's over 38 now. The over 3.5 is minus 170.
Yeah, it's not as exciting.
Over four?
What is 3-1? 3-1 Musetti's at plus 230 to play the exacta.
Yeah, that's a good
That
one.
seems good. But plus 230 is so standard. Like I want like plus 250 on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think
hear
the
you.
Musetti maybe minus 1.5 sets might be a decent parlay piece.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I kind of,
Yeah.
Even at 38, I don't
I want
mind.
to be on like the Bash side of this. I get it with the
Yeah.
game being taking the over. I kind of want to be on like the Bash side of this. So I
What
usually don't
about
like taking like the
what about the Bash set one? Like I feel like Musetti might come in a little
Yeah.
rusty. Like he
Yeah,
also Musetti
I quite like that.
he
yeah, but that's a
struggled
terrible price. That plus 145.
Whoa. Yeah, what?
probably
From
they're baking it.
325?
Yeah, like that's just
That's
not a good
crazy.
price. Like,
Yeah.
and
The fact that
look
second
at
place
set two
is
is plus 190. So like really like the
they're
market
probably
is on
baking that
set
in.
one Bash.
They're probably baking it in. Because also Musetti struggled in the first set against um I think against Navoni he lost at the French Open, right? He
Yeah.
also like lost the first set in the first, or I think he got 7-5 against Hoffman.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like Musetti is not known for being a quick starter.
It's also, I just think there's also a lot of people out there that love set one, like dog set one money lines. I
Yeah.
think
It's
it's just
yeah.
like a crowd popular pick.
What's Jiri set one money line against Rublev plus 190? Kind of
I
interesting.
mean, is that somewhere you take the full match, man? Like Rublev has had so many bad matches. Like, is plus 290 that bad of a price on Jerry? He's only got to win 26% of the time to break even on that.
Yeah, but Jiri struggles physically, I feel like the longer the match goes.
Yeah, but if Rublev's having a bad day, like, I don't know. Ugh.
It is a tough matchup because like Jerry gets a lot of balls back. Like that's his strength to his game, right?
It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's the kind of match that I think it's for me, I'd rather just stay away from, to be honest. It's two guys who you can't really with
Yeah,
Jerry, you
Jerry can
can't
be the
really
worst. You're absolutely right. I mean, Jerry's a guy who like, and I hate saying this, but if there's a dude who if I had to pick a dude who match fixes on the tour, I feel like it could be Jerry because he just something like there are times when he just like completely just tanks it.
someone's messaged me like a week ago and said this, and I actually think I'd agree. If I was to pick one, I think it'd be Marjan. The dips in his game are just insane compared to
Okay.
when he
All
peaked.
right. Interesting.
But I don't want Jared shit either. But
Yeah, he can have some. I've seen him play some really awful matches.
it
Man,
just
we're in really sad times if Chris O'Connell's a 4.5 game dog to this version of Manarino. O'Connell's been really poor lately. I'm not saying it's wrong, but like just really sad times. Like
yeah, I
O'Connell, I don't
definitely I
know.
don't think it's wrong. I'd
I
rather be
don't
on the
think it's wrong
Manarino side of
either.
that.
I don't think
Yeah,
it's
I think we're just in sad times. I think you're right.
Yeah. I
can
can just call out a couple
Tiafoe
of stuff that
can
I'm on
Tiafoe
if
Yeah.
cover an 8 game spread against Moeller?
who I
Tiafoe?
have Tiafo straight sets. I got it on open at plus 100. I think it's pretty juiced now though.
You got
Yeah.
three
So
zero.
if the spread's 8, the 3-0 is gonna be juicy
Wow,
Oh
at
wow, it's
165.
minus 200.
that's some crazy. It's minus 165. That's crazy CLV though. It's insane.
All right, Luke, what else are you on? Then we can call it.
I have uh I'm on Faria Sonigo overs. I have over 3.5 and over 4.
I like
I
that.
got 3.5 at 145. I think that's pretty juicy now, but the over 4 is still good in my opinion. That should go long. Um,
I always like Sonigo to go long in matches. I just his game. He's not got the game style that's like really
yeah.
up and down.
Yep.
I took a Dartery at plus 200-ish, that kind of range. I just think he's a bit big. I kind of don't love that play, but I took it. So
Where's Dartery? Who's he playing?
Safi.
Oh man. Oh,
Match the cap. What was the price on it?
Like plus 203, I think.
Yeah, it's still plus 200.
Yeah, it's a big price. Um, I played Arnaldi against Bodek at like 125-ish. I think it came in a lot from open, which I kind of it, Van de Zandskop is just so bad at the moment. I just had to play that.
That over, I'm
Mm.
gonna be on over four there at minus 105. I mean,
Yeah.
that seems like it has five sets written all over it.
Um, I have Pennington Jones. I mentioned that already.
yeah. I,
Uh,
I I I was gonna ask about that match, but yeah, we talked about that already.
uh, I did actually play some Bolt plus 300, just a little sprinkle. It's 0.25
Oh,
units. Um,
That's
get
Fortino.
oh
shelled.
yeah, another one that I played is I played Sarandolo minus 170. I I don't love laying that juice, but I think he wins and I like the price. And another one that I took Goffin set one because there's physicality concerns, but I think he is the
Frankie.
better player than Rinky still. Like I don't trust him over 5 sets, but I like the set one play on him.
How about
That
RC
makes a lot of
plus
sense.
10 and a half against Demonor? Don't you
Ooh, but and Bovada took it down, but they actually had you could play the exacta on RCB to win 3-0 or 3-1 at 100. They've taken it down now, but if that comes back up, like I don't know, man. Like it sounds like a joke, but like if Demon's really that mentally gassed and he just doesn't want
Yeah,
to play, like
but is
it's
RCB
100 to
playing hurt?
1.
Maybe
He
What?
is. He is
is he
playing.
playing hurt? Like I know he's been
He's been
injured,
hurt.
and
Could be, you know what I mean? Like he could be playing like yeah, it's a
Total
I
price.
feel like it's worth a shot at 100 to 1. Like I'm not saying it's going to come in. I don't think it's going to come in even 10% of the time, but you only need that to hit 1% of the
yeah,
time to be profitable.
yeah, true.
I
Uh,
like the Jesper de Jong at minus 130 against Eubanks. Like I understand Eubanks, it like grass is his best surface and he can probably bomb some serves here, but like over five sets. I mean, De Jong is I feel like it's a terrible matchup for Eubanks because he's just a pest and gets so many balls back. Like,
yeah,
I don't
I
know.
think
I,
it depends. Like obviously, there's a big surface edge for Eubanks, but
yes.
I don't know does how invested he is anymore. Like I think,
Yeah, he wants
You
but
to
want to
that
go commentate?
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
but that being said, though, Jesper did just lose to Tomic like a few days ago. So
What are your thoughts, Luke, on the all of what is it, Tarvet versus Reedy? That's like
yeah,
near
actually,
pick.
that's another one that I've played on. I have two plays on that actually. I have Reedy set one because I don't love him over 5 sets, and I have Reedy money line. I think Tarvet is being a little overvalued there.
Right, that's kind of what I thought too. Like
Yeah.
he's got a nice game for grass Tarvet, but man, like
I think a lot of
I
people it's a thing of like yeah, like minus 125 it's yeah.
like one
Like
of these
it
like Tarvet's
opened
barely a pro player. He's ranked 700 in the world. He's more of a
yeah,
college
he's a
player,
college player.
and he's
He's
playing against a pro. Like, I mean, Reed is a legitimate challenger pro. He's been on the
yeah.
challenger tour for and the high challenger tour for years now. Kind of in and out of the top 100. Like,
And I
and
mean
it's minus
yeah.
125.
I think it's another one of those things where it's a bit I just think it's an overreaction. I think what Tarvet was like plus 500 against Atmain at the start of qualities and now he's pick with Reedy who's better on grass. It's like it's just a massive overcorrection to a
Yeah,
good
I tend to
qualities
agree.
campaign. But yeah,
Reedy
I think
beat
Reedy would have to
he
be
brushed aside Murphy Cassoni in Ilkley.
Reedy, yeah. No,
Yeah.
Reedy's had a really good.
Yeah, he's
really
been
solid
pretty
kind of
decent.
grass.
Reedy's had some really solid runs in the past too. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember, man, when we first started the podcast, he had some really. We
Yeah,
talked a lot about Leandro Reedy. Like,
Yeah,
right.
he's got a nice game for us. He's got the aggressive kind of game, and I think he's a
I'm
player
gonna be
for
on
sure.
that money line too, minus 125.
Yeah.
I think that's a decent play.
Um, that might
Any last
be.
thoughts?
Let's see. What do I think if Thompson's healthy, yeah, I think he might be cheap, but I don't trust him to be healthy.
I don't trust him physically right now.
Um, let's see.
I mean, I think it might be useful.
oh, you know what, Mackey? We talked about this a little bit before, but
Oh,
Mackey,
Mackie
I
and
was there at
Kachanov.
325 or plus five and
Yeah,
a
that's
half,
crazy.
man. I feel like maybe Mackey maybe plus a set and a half. Kachanov is probably still better physically. Maybe Mackey plus a set and a half, but like I feel like I gotta be on Mackey. There's just a that matchup is really bad for Kachanov.
And if you look
I feel like
I think an over
I feel like
36 and a
five
half is
sets might
low.
be a good play here.
What'd you say, Manny?
5 sets plus 240.
I think there's a lot of plays here that like I think any of your overs
Four
lines.
sets plus 140 is quite big there also. I know the
Yeah.
four sets is a joke now, but it's a big price. Like,
It is a good price.
compared to other matches that seem less like this
Like
seems closer than a
both
lot of
guys are so
them.
one-dimensional, like that. I don't see how like Kachanov never goes straight sets in
Yeah.
matches. Never. So
He
he's
dropped a set to Borchaga. I
too
mean,
one-dimensional.
yeah.
Like he doesn't have tools in the bag that he can go to if he's struggling. So he just
I like the over there to be honest. I think 36 and a half is low.
I
it's
think so.
36.
I
Oh,
also
it's
think that like
37 and a half
the
now. Oh, I saw it at 36. Yeah. And also the one other over that I kind of do like is Quinn versus Searle. That's what I'm looking at. I haven't played it, but it's kind of
Quinn versus Searle.
40 and a half. Is that what I saw?
you missed it, I think.
You
I
missed it,
think it was a
Manny.
39 and a half when I saw it,
I think it's now
which I think
40 and
I'd
a half.
play
Man, you get
more
massive
than.
CLV. Like this is we gotta get with you earlier, Luke.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, no, I
Got some
haven't played
massive
this one though. I was looking at it, but I actually didn't play this one. Yeah, I think
Philpott.
that probably goes long. Yeah, Searle has a nice game for the grass also.
Quinn does too, by the way.
Yeah, he does. I haven't really liked what I've seen from him on grass though.
Played well on the clay, but I feel like
Yeah,
the game is actually more conducive to the grass.
yeah, but he's
Perfect.
not like he doesn't move well at all on grass. Like from the
He's just not used to it.
yeah, and I think like even with Rodesque, you saw that like when he first came off the grass a couple of weeks back, like his movement was really bad, and as he's played the challengers over the last couple of weeks, it developed. So Quinn could well come out after practicing for a few weeks on the grass and be much more comfortable. But he played Lee 2 a couple of weeks back, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I was on him that day, and he was really, really out of his depth on the grass. So
Hmm.
I think Searle is somewhat live in that one.
How about Duckworth against FAA? And do you feel like Duckworth is live here? I mean,
I, d-
FAA.
I do, but I feel like it's kind of being factored in. Like with the spread is only a five, the totals at 38 and a half is quite high for like the money line price. So I'd say like they factor in the fact that he's got to serve. Yeah.
It's also
I,
like
I,
Duckworth, like FA is the much better tennis player,
yeah.
Yeah, way
which is
better.
why it's five. I get it, but I feel like that's pretty right. Is the point?
Yeah. Let me see.
I mean,
I feel
I
like
wouldn't back necessarily Duckworth to win the match. Like I feel like the set one at over plus 200 is not a bad look.
because Felix has been in Spain, so different conditions, I guess.
I probably want to shorten the finish line there because like I don't think Duckworth has the tools to match him over best of five, but I do think he can take a set.
Also, as much as I hate it, I did play Struth. I had to at
Oh,
minus
I was
118.
leaning Misalik at plus money, honestly. I think
Yeah,
Stroop struggles more on grass actually because he needs time.
but for me, Mislic is he's he's playing great on the Challenger circuit. He's a clay player though, and he hasn't played enough grass, I think, to be and also not done enough at this level to be had a
qualified.
pick with
He
Struff on grass.
qualified though.
He did, but he really scammed Hassan. If you look at the point by point there, even I was on him that day, and he was staying a break in every set, I think, and he won 3-1. But he it wasn't convincing. And who did he play before? I think he played Denuden. He saved 3 match points or something like that. He hasn't been great in qualies, and now he's playing Struff, which is a big step up, I think, in the sort of level.
Ollie,
So
yeah, Hassan was he two tie breaks, and then on he brushed aside Onklin.
All
And
right, guys, we good to call it? I think we've gone through enough matches. I know Luke has to go,
yeah,
so
yeah,
it's just so many matches. It's like a little
I
kid in a
know
candy
this.
store when I see 64
yeah,
matches. Like it's unbelievable,
I know.
insane. So all right, so
yeah. But
we're
Luke,
gonna
yeah,
yeah, thanks again. We're gonna post our fantasy teams on X. We're also gonna post like I think we can do like a thread maybe of like all of our plays and kind of like day by day for the first two rounds, and
Yeah,
kind of maybe put it together. You can put yours and then we can like quote you and put ours. Just want to like since we did a pod together, we kind of want to bunch them up together so the viewers
yeah,
can see. We'll have some
perfect.
GBM plays, maybe some popcorn tennis. We'll put that all on the timeline. So a lot of
Sounds good.
stuff coming out. And thanks again. We'll do this again soon. This was
Yeah, for
awesome.
sure.
So
Yeah, it was great. Great to come on and talk, and I'll always enjoy talking tennis, and so yeah, it was good. Thanks for having me on.
absolutely
yeah,
enjoy the UFC fights.
Yeah, all right,
yeah.
I
Who you
Thanks,
appreciate
got,
it.
the
guys.
Poirier or Oliveira?
Taporia, I think.
Poirier.
Knock it.
All right,
Yeah,
nice.
has to be.
All
Um,
right, have a good one, guys. Take care.
all right,
Thanks, guys.
in a bit,
Bye.
bro. Thanks for having me on, boys.
Mhm.
Um.